Alex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least on my end it is.
I'm going to fix that real quick. Yo, what up, guys? Fixing my mic. Bear with us for 2 seconds. I'm just going to fix my mic, and then we're going to get going, guys.
I was pumping iron before you guys showed up. So, well, I hadn't quite yet. I was going to pump iron for money. So, but I didn't get any. So
that's I guess that's the new OnlyFans. just watch girls lift weights.
Pay for their fitness, for their gains.
Yeah.
Okay, let me announce what we're doing today, guys. So we're going to have a fun stream. Apologies for the reschedule and timing, but basically we're going to be doing Tinder profile reviews, which is something you guys have asked us about. And we're also going to do a variation of a call-in show. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to open up the stream, and you can pop on, ask us all your dating questions, and we'll answer all your questions. And you don't even have to show your face. So it's basically like a call-in, but it's the same shit. But yeah, so that's the plan for today. Yeah, how are you guys feeling?
Like $1 million. I'm
gonna do something which I never ever do, and that's eat on stream. My little paleo granola.
Dude, I was doing that earlier too, and I never do it either.
Why don't you guys eat on stream?
I don't know. I feel like
professional sometimes. I wanted to as well, though. I've been working all day since I woke up. This sounds really bad. So I'm at a girl's place right now. So she had like Twix bars. So I was knocked down a few of these. So yeah.
Here, take a mini Quest bar.
Oh, dude.
I'll give it to
you.
Here you go.
How about instead of doing
I'll put it in the private chat. You can just pick it up from there.
Instead of doing a call-in show and Tinder profile review, let's just do a eating show where we just show off all the food that we have.
A mukbang.
Great.
A dating
That's what
show
people
mukbang.
want to do is just watch a bunch of
Your mic cut out.
She might just be talking to her chat.
Oh, really?
Oh, maybe not.
There we go. I was just saying that's what chat wants to see. They just want to see 3D eating food.
You know, I bet there's like a solid like 50 to 100 people that would just be down to just watch us eat.
I'm pretty sure there is like an
cream.
ASMR thing where like women just eat like egregious amounts of food.
Well,
I have whipped cream. Some sexy stuff can go down over here on this end because the audience totally wants to see that.
You know,
by the way, diet hack. Hold on, really quickly. Diet hack, whipped cream, yo. This shit, you could put this shit on everything, and it's like low calories. So,
when you're cutting.
You know what? I think we should start off with, if you're open to this, Kyla. Let's talk about your appearance on Fresh and Fit, and you can share with us your experience.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, give us a rundown.
Show all the time. Well, yeah. So I was expecting to be on the podcast. It sounds like there was some pretty major miscommunication. It's still not clear to me, like from what end it came from. But it doesn't matter. I was still on the after hours, and I think I made a pretty good impression there. So on the after hours, we showed up, went in. Behind the scenes is actually like pretty professional for the most part. They offer you water. If you want to drink, they have like White Claws available, but they're not even like pushing them. You directly have to ask for them if you want like alcohol. The entire time they were giving us water, like kind of behind the scenes, they had staff kind of coming up and handing us little glasses of water. You sign a little form, and then you head in. They do a couple of mic checks, and then you kind of go from there. Trying to think. For the most part, it was like pretty good. There was definitely like an interesting experience of how the staff treated me before and after the show. I think when I came on, they just assumed I was like another kind of Miami girl, and I would definitely say that they don't treat them overly well. Kind of got treated like a retarded child a little bit, and then at the end, I think there's a lot of staff who were really impressed with my performance, and they treated me a fair bit differently, which was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you did really well in that show, and
Thanks.
even in the comments section, it seemed, I'm sure some of Destiny's audience, some of your audience was in the comment section, but it seemed to me that a lot of like Fresh and Fit fans or fanboys, whatever you want to call them. They were like they liked you a lot. So I know you went in with sort of the strategy of being way more sort of like empathetic toward them and all that type of stuff. I thought that was very effective. I got to be honest. I was kind of skeptical if that would actually work, that method, but it seems like it did. So I'm glad that I was wrong.
I've had like a realization. I've been thinking a lot about like how we engage with like ideas that we dislike on the internet. Cause like I debate, like that's one of the big things that I do. And I feel like somewhere along the way, we all got convinced that if you like showed empathy to certain people who you like really disliked, that you would be like doing some sort of like damage to your ideas, or that you wouldn't be doing like a good enough job of showing how bad these ideas are. And I think we were just wrong. And so like that was kind of like what I went into it, is I was like thinking about that whole week, and I was like, you know what, I think that this strategy is going to work the best, and I want to try it. And I think it worked really well. I think it matches my style really well as well, because it takes debating out of like a very like masculine centric, like aggressive space, into like a little bit more Socratic, right? I spent a lot of time just asking questions, but asking like pointed questions. And I feel like that actually got received better. And I've seen every now and then a couple comments being like, she didn't even make any points. But I think actually for the most part, I stuck to like my positions pretty firmly. I just did my best to like empathize and then ask a lot of questions and then bite certain bullets that I think were necessary to like get into the worldview of like the people I was debating.
What were some of the bullets that you had to bite?
I think there's there's a bit of biological essentialism and evo-psych stuff that I would disagree with. For example, like there was one bullet where I was just willing to like concede for the sake of the argument about women are like inherently, like naturally more submissive. And the issue with evo-psych stuff, so I tackled evo-psych from like a meta level, but to like tackle every single evo-psych point, I have to like do so much groundwork to outline why evo-psych as a field is like not great, and why you should be like very careful about like claims you take from evo-psych, that it felt like I'd rather just bite the bullet and work within their landscape, because even within like their view of that, if they actually view women in all of these ways, it's interesting that they keep selecting for women that like in their minds would be like the lowest quality women. And it seems like they're creating a situation where you're actually reinforcing like the worst, most like fatherless behavior in women. So I rather would work within their worldview and show the inconsistencies within the worldview itself, rather than like trying to redefine the landscape.
Do you think you changed any of their positions at all, or like at least nudged them a little bit?
Hard to say. I think it was really good that I got Myron to acknowledge that like their advice is probably only really good for like 200 of their like 21,000 viewers. I think that was really, I think that was a really big moment when he was like, the reality is like, but and so he would say, so you should be striving for being one of those 200. And I'm like, I'd rather give advice for the 21,000. Like,
yeah. No, I thought you guys that was a really good point that you guys brought up for sure. Yeah. It's literally like saying like, 90-something% of you guys can go fuck yourselves.
Basically. And it's just like, that's not even true. Like most people get married. So it's like, it's obviously not even true that 97% of us can get fucked. Like most people are having enough success to be getting married. So what the fuck's going on there?
What do you think about Destiny's performance? Because I watched some of his other ones, and he was definitely a little bit more assertive during this one, which I actually found a lot more entertaining. I preferred this one to like all the other ones. I wouldn't say it got combative. That's not the word I would use, but it was like sort of trending in that direction potentially. So it seems like he took a different strategy this time. Was that like, what are your thoughts on that?
So we didn't a lot of people probably think that we pre-planned our strat. He literally landed and then like came home, showered, and left. Like we didn't talk at all. He went on the podcast, and then it was the after hours, and we were getting a meal with like Sneeko and stuff. So we didn't prep. I think having me on so Destiny tends to build rapport first, and he wants to like have enough of a bridge built so that he can have like regular conversations before he's going to like go in really hard with people. That seems to be a strategy in general that he's adopted. I don't know how he feels about it, but I suspect having me to play off of is like, I can kind of be there. So like I did a number of things within the thing where I called out the other women on the panel. And by me kind of taking that role, I think he can take a more aggressive role of like calling out the men. I think we kind of played off of each other really well in that way, where like I was driving a fair bit of that empathy with them, and then he could push them really hard on certain like points. And so I think that played off really, really well with each other without our position at all coming across like just aggressive or bad faith at any point.
Did you feel like, let me ask you this question. I guess that'll be my last question on this. And this may sound like a leading question, but I am not trying to make it a leading question. Did you feel like there's any like low-key disdain for Destiny and his like relationship and sexual style, like the fact that he's like bi and the fact that he's like in an open marriage? Like, did you sense any like, obviously there's no like overt like, yo, you're a fucking cuck, right? I didn't see any of that, but like, did you feel like a undertone of that or not really?
Yeah, I mean, the comments were pretty wild. Like the entire time, there's like Destiny's situationship or something as like a handle that kept donating and stuff. So like there is definitely, as soon as he like mentioned again that he was bisexual, there was like a very strong immediate visceral reaction from like MJ, the guy who was sitting beside me. It's just like everyone had this big reaction. So yeah, there was like a lot of disdain.
Whoa, is it contagious?
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, like are the dicks gonna start flying at my face? That's not how this works. So
just so you know, Destiny, I'm straight, so don't take your penis out next to me.
Yeah,
don't rub your gay all over me.
Yeah, that's kind of how they were kind of acting, which was.
I'm not really into vaccines, but I never got the gay vaccine, so I'm a little worried. Am I at risk right now? Should I put on the gay mask, which is basically like a butt plug? Like,
there's a lot of like really visceral, but like that space especially is pretty homophobic, so I'm not surprised to see that. And then just in general, there's just a lot of people trying to like prove, like I think once Melina came on and they saw like how attractive she was and stuff as well, they were like, oh, okay, well something else has to be going on here then to like discredit Destiny's relationship.
Yeah, that's pretty common. Yeah, and they also think that any type of relationship where the girl isn't 100% commit, where the girl is not 100% committed to the guy, and the guy is not fucking other girls, that makes the guy a cuck. So they use the word cuck like super loosely to literally describe like any situation where the guy isn't fucking a bunch of girls and the girl isn't fucking just him. They even try calling me a cuck.
It's not like Steven doesn't fuck other women. Like he's got a very rampant sexual life as well. Like they both sleep with other people. Like they both are very successful in their open relationship. So yeah, it was really strange to see them like trying to like discredit it. And it's just like, but he's not, like he's sleeping with also like very attractive like women around the world and stuff. So
but if he was truly a high value man, then Melina would be so head over heels for her that she wouldn't want to fuck other dudes.
Yeah, that's the steel man argument. Exactly that.
But also be too afraid to fuck other dudes. So it's kind of both.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, which one is it? Does she not want to do it, or is she just?
They're innately submissive and loyal, but also you have to constantly emotionally manipulate and control them and coerce them to force them to stay in line. Like it's both of these things, and you're like, what?
Yeah. To Steelman in that position, they would just say, yeah, because he's such a high value guy, she's so afraid of losing him that she would never jeopardize that by acting on her intuitive feminine hypergamy, basically. I think that's a perfect iteration of their position, in my opinion.
So
okay. Well, that was interesting. Okay, let's move on to the topic at hand. Alex, you're cut. This is funny. Alex, you're cucking us right now by not showing the best this channel has to offer: Tinder conversations and profile analysis. Very true, very true. So we're going to get right on that. So, okay, guys, I posted the email. I'm going to post the email again. If you guys, but one big thing is if you want like your personal info not to be there, then make sure you censor. I would probably recommend you censor your name either way, but don't email me 3 days from now and be like, oh, Alex, I didn't know this was going to be live. I didn't know, like, no, my thing was out there. I get those emails all the time. They're super annoying. Don't be that guy. Also, don't submit profiles on your friend's behalf. This has also been happening. People are like, oh, yeah, evaluate my profile. And then I get an email like, hey, my friend had you evaluate my profile. I never consented to this. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, my God. So no picking other people without their permission. But, yeah, so that's the email. I'm sure there's going to be a million emails, but don't wait until the last minute. Send us your profile now. We'll do a breakdown. We'll probably do that for like 45 minutes. and then we'll get into the call-in part. So it's going to be like a 2-part segment. So if we don't get to your profile, we apologize. Early bird gets the worm, so as to speak. Okay, I'm going to pop open my email. Okay. Okay, we already got several profiles coming in. All right, perfect. I'm just going to share my screen. You guys are going to see my email.
Just a reminder, I guess, to like call-ins. If you are bringing stuff up and you're like including like other people's names, I highly encourage you to black those out. It's just always a little awkward if you're like sharing DMs with people and their like name and full number of somebody who's not consenting to be on the show is like shown on blast. It's a little weird. All right, is this a profile?
Ma'am. Okay, so I'm assuming this is his first profile photo. It's not bad actually. This is a decent photo in my opinion.
That's a good photo. Yeah, I like that.
Now, the one thing I will comment on is the facial expression is just slightly awkward. This can actually be very easily fixed in FaceApp. I recently discovered how powerful FaceApp is, but you can actually put this photo on FaceApp and slightly change your facial expression. You'll still have a smile, but the smile will be a little bit better. So that's the only recommendation I would make on this photo. You guys
it's clearly also, just so that the audience can learn from this, it's clearly also taken during golden hour, which is, an hour before sunset or an hour after sunrise. Seems like kind of an obvious thing for maybe a lot of people, but yeah, I mean, even if you just try to take a picture like this, if you're planning like a photo shoot, for example, and you're just like, oh, let's just go to the beach at 2 p.m. It'll probably be great. The lighting is just going to be too harsh. It's going to be terrible. So
I actually
he did that right here. Go ahead.
If I were to do this as well, I'd actually cut it up to where the guy was in the center of the photo, and then I'd probably cut out the background, up the vibrancy. I'd probably play with the skin a little bit, try to add a touch of like a tan to it, and probably whiten the teeth of the touch by lowering the vibrancy. But otherwise, the photo is really fucking good. I do agree.
What do you mean by the background, like blur?
So there's this thing. This is off an article I read a long time ago. So there's the very top guy in New York. He worked on his Tinder bios for a long time. Like I was studying, I was reading a bunch of articles on this for a quick second. And what this guy would say is that the colors of your photo would also catch girls' eye and make her stay a little bit longer. So if you were to maybe touch up the background a little bit, if you're to like up the vibrancy, I've even at times with photos have cut out the backgrounds and added like completely blue skies to obviously to fit like the lighting, may not make it look like it's out of place. But you can also up the vibrancy. And by upping the vibrancy of the background, you'll make it a little bit more eye-catching, make it look even more professional. You can even blur out the background a bit and make him pop out of the background a touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We should probably move on to his second photo.
Yeah, I would just say just throw this on FaceApp, and you can fix these little things. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Your forearms are really nice though.
Okay.
Good vascularity.
All right. Someone's been doing forearm day.
Hasn't been skipping forearm day. This looks like a more athletic version of wheat waffles, honestly.
Damn. That's 2 streams in a row. Wheat waffles has come up.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we only know what wheat waffles looks like because of. Never mind.
Actually, wheat waffles. I was going to say something, but yeah, I'm not going to bring it up either. Okay, yeah, I think this photo is okay. He looks slightly constipated, but that's to be expected because he's kicking a soccer ball. I think it's a decent photo in my opinion. What would you guys say? I would probably have this as 3 or 4, not 2 though.
I mean, I think Tinder now does the smart thing where basically it'll rotate which pictures are first and whatnot to see which are the most eye.
But you can turn that off though. You can turn that off.
You can. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it shows that you have interest in hobbies, which is always a good thing to show kind of diverse parts of your personality. Shows that you're fit.
Shows that
no way I'm the only person thinking this, but it just reminds me of it looks like Hitler's youth playing soccer. I'm just gonna say it. I'm sorry. With
the hand.
I mean, he looks the part. And then also what he's doing with his left hand. I'm sorry. Just an observation. I don't know. If you have somebody who's very
I feel like nobody else was thinking that.
Well, it looked like Denton was.
Okay.
the Hitler Youth look is very much in right now, though. That's like where
Yeah,
all the
it
girls
is, bro. It's a timeless look. Just don't do what they did, you know. But you can look the way that they did. They look good. Just don't be them.
Okay, so I think
Look in before getting canceled.
Sorry, go for it, man.
I think this photo would be decent if he did something about the way his face looks. I think he looks like a little bit like a sourpuss. This can probably be fixed with FaceApp, although FaceApp might get confused because there's a lot of shit here. But I would run this photo through FaceApp. It's a little too dark, and I would see if you can change the facial expression. That's kind of my opinion. What do you guys think?
It's not a
lens
great
flare.
photo. The angle's weird. It's cutting off part of your arm. The exposure's pretty bad. Like, I would mostly look at other photos. Like, I wouldn't say that this is the strongest photo to come forward with. So,
No.
and you've already got an athletic photo, so this is now kind of doubling up. Unless that's
Totally
your
agreed.
only interest in the world, and then
Yeah.
I guess.
And he also looks short here too. That's just not something that you want to do. And like, especially since his head is like in the middle of the screen, and there's so much more
But-
like
Yeah, that can
space
be
between where his head is at the top.
that can be
That's
fixed
for
if you just. I didn't get
Cropped it
that
out
vibe,
differently, yeah.
but I think that can be fixed if he just crops half the space above his
Mhm.
head.
Yeah.
I
But
think you
yeah,
should
even
always-
even regardless of that, it doesn't look that great, especially with the white shirt and the white sky in the background. It just kind of blends in. The other
Yeah.
pictures are way better.
Yeah, the lens
Okay.
flare is also kind of fucking up a little bit. Like there's a bit of lens flare from the top left to the bottom right.
Let's see the
It's not,
next
it's
one.
not a good lens flare. It's not Michael Bay lens flare.
Okay,
either.
this is a better photo.
I actually don't like this one.
Really?
Yeah, I'll explain why. Aside from the fact that the lighting is kind of poor because half of his body and face is lit up, half of it is not. He looks small. That could be fixed through cropping, but it looks quite posed. I don't think it's a flattering version of him. Like, yeah, my gut feeling is nay on this photo. It's like even when you zoom in on it, it's like not that great. I don't know. That's
Maybe
my
they-
opinion.
maybe-
It definitely
same.
looks better when you zoom in, but yeah, it's not as good as the first two for sure.
I definitely
think
like it more than the pull-up one, for sure. I would crop it as well. I would crop it. But the actual scenery around you is super nice. So I feel like you could definitely play with that. But
So this is how it would look if it was cropped. It would be something like this.
That looks so much better.
It looks better, sure, but
your legs look huge and your torso looks very... That's a weird angle. I'm not sure what's going on. But his thighs look fucking thick
Yeah, I
with
know.
3 C's. 4 even.
I know.
Is that a
I
good
know.
thing? Is that swipe right worthy, Kyla?
I mean, thick boys are definitely there's definitely a lot of girls that are getting into thick boys. So
There we go.
Someone takes leg day
Hey.
very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got. No, I don't like this one. He looks like a kid in this, and also you can barely see his face, and the lighting is weird. That's kind of my opinion. I don't know.
Body
really,
language is a little bit odd too. Like his body language looks like he's covering up his torso a little bit with his hands. Like he doesn't look like he knows what to do with his hands.
damn, you guys are savage. I like this photo. I think it should be cropped. So I think he's got a consistent issue of like cropping and angles. Like I think this one should be cropped, and I would probably change the angle of the photo so you could get light on his face. But I really like the idea of the image itself. Like if I was a girl and I saw this, I'd be like, that's interesting. Like he's got interesting photos, scenery, ideas. But maybe I'm too nice. Maybe I just go easy on it.
Don't you think though? It looks. My problem with it is it looks way too staged. You know, I think it just looks
I'd probably
unnatural.
swipe
Let's-
right on him.
That's one of the issues, but I think the other issue is one, it looks like he has a little bit of a belly here, and two, his face is barely visible. Like it's just the
Yeah.
lighting is so dark, you can't see his his facial features, and it's posed. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah,
about
especially
this.
like because clearly, you know, like what Kyla was saying is like the dude's got tree trunk legs, and that's a good quality that
That's a
girls
good
might
photo.
swipe right on. So like
I
you want to
love
show
this
show
guy.
off your features more. You know,
I love this next photo. I'm
Really?
curious to see if you guys are gonna rip it apart. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna rip it apart. I
It
really
looks
like
like-
this one.
It looks like he's like a special ed student or something like that. I don't know.
He's just writing. What do you mean?
I think it adds like a little bit more character. Like in comparison to all those other photos, like this photo by itself, I don't think would be great, but in comparison with all the other photos, it adds personality. So it might
It's
not
like,
be bad in conjunction.
I
Like
think
look
this
because
is
at
a great
it looks like
photo.
it's an honest smile, which I like. He looks like he's actually having a lot of fun.
it's like
Yeah.
look at
No,
me.
it is
I know how to
it
go
is
number
honestly
2.
fun.
It's not staged, right? The colors behind him are great. Like he's got a pretty good artistic eye for like imagery behind him and stuff like that. Like between the park now, the cityscape, and this, like this is very eye catching. He looks like he's having fun. It looks like a very genuine smile. Like if I saw this photo if I was like scrolling through, if I saw the pull up, I'd be like, I don't know. Is he kind of like a weird gym bro? If I saw this photo, I'd be like, okay, based, and I'd for sure swipe right. I think he's cute.
All right, I think the caption you need with this photo is "Guess what kind of drugs I'm on?" ? That's the only way to make this photo
Mom,
work.
I'm doing it. Yay.
I mean, like, let's recap. Okay, so this photo, I think we all agree on is good. It just needs to be cropped a little bit. This photo, I think we largely agree on is good. This photo, there seems to be some disagreement, but honestly, if I had to pick a third photo out of all of these, it would be this one. Because I'd rather have them come off looking a little bit like too intimidating than like too like, oh my God, I'm the nicest guy ever. These two photos, I'm just not a fan of. This one, yeah, I just feel like he just looks like way too happy. But I don't know. That's kind of like my angle. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's important to make sure. Yeah, I think it's important to make sure that there's some, for lack of a better word, congruency in the photos that you have. So if you're like have this like cool athletic, whatever cool guy vibe in all of your photos, and then all of a sudden the last one, it's like, yay, look at me. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it'll necessarily hurt you, but you're kind of taking a risk there. I think that's a big thing that guys screw up with a lot on their profiles. And you talk about this a lot, Alex, where like, let's say, for example, that you have this vibe in your photos where you're just like the guy that the girl wants to take back home to mom. And then the bio is like extremely sexual. Like it just doesn't match, and I think that kind of carries over to the photos as well. So it's like, in my opinion, that you should like almost sort of pick a theme, I guess, and stick to it.
Really? Not like show off more dynamic parts of your personality?
Well,
no, I think that's fine. But if it's like, there can't be too much of a big contradiction, I don't think.
Yeah. Guys' profiles are so heavily, in comparison, like girls' profiles, guys are so heavily judged against on their dating apps. So the majority, like, I think it's like, what is it, 5-1 to 6-1? Like, Alex probably knows this more. Guys to girls on dating apps, and girls are very fucking picky. I think girls only swipe, like, what is it? They swipe right on like 1 in 10 people on these dating apps, whereas like a guy is gonna swipe left or right probably about 2/3 of all girls. So it's a big difference of like the experiences. I actually both agree. I agree with Kevin, but it could also be that it could be more like playing the polarizing game as well. Like I'm actually not even disagreeing with you. I'm just throwing out something else that might be a little bit of a different idea. Like the polarizing, like deciding that I'm gonna play like a card that nobody else is playing to try to get the swipes.
Interesting. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like you could do that. It's just sort of a risk. It could either work to your benefit or blow up in your face. So like where you have like this cool like badass vibe, your first 3 photos, and then all of a sudden your last photo is you just being like, like I could see that going either way.
Well, his legs do look like toddlers' feet, honestly, and from this angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's move on.
But that could be funny enough for a girl just like, okay, I'm gonna swipe right. Kind of like Kyla.
I think. Well, I really think when you're making a profile, you have to be thinking about what kind of girl you're wanting to catch, right? Like, I think that's a large part of it. Because like if you're looking, especially if you're looking for like a bit more of like a wholesome, longer term relationship, probably showing off those more dynamic parts of you is going to be a lot more valuable. But it's going to probably decrease your success, for example, with somebody who's maybe looking for like more casual hookups. That would be my inclination. But I've spent a lot less time on apps in general. And I've not been obviously a man on an app because I would be lying. So
no, that's a really good point. It's like you're what you present on your profile. Yeah. You have to go in mind of like what you want what types of girls do you want? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm on the app for other girls sometimes, but it's probably a whole different ballgame when I'm a woman looking for women. So
I feel like Tinder is more for like sleeping around. So it's a certain type of look that a girl's going for. If you're going more for like Bumble or Hinge is more like dating seriously. I feel Bumble's kind of in the middle in my head. I feel if you're going to like move more away from the fuckboy energy on Tinder at times, not like, I'm not saying full on, but you're going to fuck up with your ELO scoring. So if like you're trying to go for the boyfriend material type energy on Tinder, I feel like you're going to fuck your ELO a little bit. But I've never tested that. Like that'd have to be something somebody have to like split test and find out.
Look
Dude,
how many-
Bumble, you can't even put a shirtless picture up on Bumble. So like my
Really?
Bumble profile is way different than my Tinder. Yeah,
That's
it
wild.
gets deleted.
That's
you
wild.
can if you typically can if you're a minority. That's what I've noticed.
Fuck that.
I'm a minority.
Yeah, that's right.
Why does that matter? What do you
It's
mean?
really weird, but I
Like,
have.
is it
so
an
many
AI
girls-
system that can't
Kevin.
detect nipples if it blends in?
I
with the
don't
skin?
know,
Is that
but
all
I've
that's
just noticed-
happening?
I've just noticed with my black clients, shirtless photos on Bumble have not been an issue once, and with my
It's-
white clients.
Wow.
It's got to be the AI detecting nipples. Like that's all it can be. That's the only thing that would make
Wow.
sense. You know, like when
So
you
you're
take photos and it like captures, like puts boxes around faces, and it often can never put a box around like a black person's face and zoom on it because we typically develop technology and test it on like typically fair skin, specifically white people. I feel like it's
So
gotta
moral
be-
of the story.
Why
Kevin,
would they be
just-
okay with? Yeah, why would they be okay with black shirtless men, but not any other?
So
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying if I paint myself black and then okay,
Well,
second thing I said that's gonna get us
any
canceled.
life choice you want, Kevin. I wouldn't recommend it. Some people would call that insensitive, actually, but you do.
Hey, you know,
Alright.
I'm just trying to get matches on Bumble.
Okay.
Yeah, so this guy
This
said,
guy's
rate me.
got a
I don't think that'll work.
All right, so this guy said, rate me bros 2K matches. And I can tell why. This guy is pretty fucking good looking. No homo.
What do you say? 2K matches?
Yeah.
As in like in what time frame?
Like-
Like ever? I mean, that's still amazing. That's a lot.
I don't know, but I think the point he's making is he's getting a lot of matches. Okay, so this photo, the first one, I think it's pretty solid. I mean, it helps that this guy's like really good looking. Like, not gonna lie, photos are a lot easier if you're really good looking. He's literally actually just pumping gas, but I don't know. It looks pretty natural for some reason. It doesn't look like he's posing. It just looks like he's like, yo, man, this is how I pump gas. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, first photo is great. I think it's just one of those photos you can't really say why it's good. It just I could totally see girls swiping right on it.
I feel like this guy just emailed in to brag, basically.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, he's like, look how
How much of a
attractive I
Chad
am,
am
how
I?
many matches I get. And it's like, cool. You
I
just
would
want
try
how
advice?
hot I am,
You just want to
guys.
show off? Okay, well, I guess another like 300
Well, he got it.
people know.
Alex is simping for him already.
Yeah, like I mean, look at the third photo. Compare that to the fucking cute ass parachute photo. The parachute photo is way more dynamic. It's way more interesting. The coloring's better. Everything about it is better. But this guy's hot. Like it's so lame. Feels so
But yeah,
bad.
this guy's getting like way more matches than the other guy, I would wager.
Maybe.
That's like the
Probably.
unfortunate reality. I think his third photo is better than his, I don't know, 2 selfies in a row. I would not recommend. I would probably take out one of these photos, in my opinion, the second photo.
I'm guessing the second photo is there for like the emphasis on the dog.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a
Have
coincidence that
dog.
the dog is there.
Yeah, he's trying to get comments on the dog.
But
Like, also
you know,
swipe on
at
the
the very
dog.
least, put
Mhm.
more of the dog's face in it, and not just
The
have
shirtless
it half cut
photo,
off.
the casual shirtless photo. Nice.
I would probably take out 4, 5, and 6. Honestly, he could do a way better shirtless photo, even if it's a selfie. This guy's like in pretty good shape. He could do like a better shirtless photo. He could do a better bike photo. And this photo, you can't even tell who he is. Looks like he's with like some
That's-
like pedophile looking guy. So I don't know.
I think the bike photo is pretty good though. I don't have a problem with that. He's got a good physique. I don't know if he's just a giant or the bike is really tiny, but regardless, he gives off the illusion that he's like 7 feet tall, and I think that's pretty good. That's probably a pretty good thing. So I would definitely keep the bike photo, in my opinion. But I totally agree with you on the shirtless photo and the boat photo.
Imagine this guy's actually like 5'4". He just got the smallest bike in the world. He's like,
See, that's a good technique, honestly. I mean, until you meet up with the girl, if she expects you to be 7 feet tall and you're actually like 5'5", then that's
that bike actually is probably super tiny. Look at it. It goes up to his like calf, to his knee. Like that
It's
is
like a BMX
actually
bike.
that is actually a really small bike.
I prefer to think that he's actually 8 feet tall. That's a more fun story, so I'm gonna go
It's
with
just
that.
a super himbo.
Yeah,
2,000 matches, 8 feet tall.
that's probably why he gets 2,000 matches as bio. You know, just 8 feet tall. Trust me. Look at my bike photo.
I can reach.
I mean,
all
this,
of the
this
apples
guy's
on the
this
tree.
guy's clearly like really good looking, so that's definitely helping. I do think he could do even better. Keep the first photo, probably keep the second or third photo, one of those, and then just get like 2 or 3 like high quality photos that are like non-selfies where he's like doing some shit.
I will say this: if he's getting 2,000 matches already, I probably wouldn't change a thing, unless he's like, I want to go from 2,000 to 3,000. Because it's like it's one of those things. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know.
Yeah.
But
It just depends on what time frame. If it's like in his whole career of 5 years being on Tinder, that's like probably
fair.
not that impressive. If it's in the last like 2 months, then that's like really impressive.
Yeah.
All right, next. We'll stop letting this guy fucking brag.
Yeah.
We get it.
Okay.
You're high. You got a 6-pack. All right.
Go away, Chad.
Yeah. No more himbos. No himbos allowed.
Okay, I have planned him and I get like 0 matches a day or they don't respond. Well, I don't know how he gets 0 matches a day and they don't respond. They seem mutually exclusive, but okay. Ooh,
Damn.
okay. What is going on here?
This just seems like a attempt at being cute, but instead it just looks wrong for some reason. Like I don't know. It just gives me weird vibes. Just
that
the way
dog
he's
It
looks
looks
holding the
very
dog.
sad. Like I get that it's supposed to be a cute photo. The issue is like it just looks sad when it's supposed to be happy. So like it's just like, are you guys both sad? Are you like baptizing him? Are you drowning him? Are you like, all right, I'm sorry, buddy, like you have to go, and you're like putting him under the water. So like the facial expression, your face matches the dog's expression too well. You both look miserable.
Yeah,
It's like the dog is his girlfriend and the dog's not happy about it. Like they're just, I don't know. They look like a couple who's like about to break up and they're just trying to like, I don't know, man. I just get weird vibes from him for some reason. I think we also got like a weird thing.
I get like low key pedo vibes. Like to me, the vibe is the police just showed up and they're like, "Sir, we're gonna need you to put down the dog." And he just noticed the police and he's like, "He's not going anywhere. He's my little good boy." And that's like the police are like, "Sir, we're going to need you to put the dog down. Okay, we've got too many complaints of what's going on here. We don't know what the fuck is going on, but we're going to need you to put the dog down and put some pants on because I don't know what's going on under the water, but we don't like it." That's kind of the vibe I get.
Fuck. Holy shit. Are you okay, Alex? I think I'm more worried about you at this point now. Are you?
You have quite a creative creative
He's got a whole
imagination.
fucking D&D backstory for this dude.
Everyone was thinking it. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking.
He was orphaned at age 2. His parents died in a brutal car accident. He was taken in by a rich butler who didn't love him enough. No hugs. Only had this sad dog.
Just
I
looks
think he's going
happy.
He's going for like a
This dog
sultry
looks
look or
miserable.
something. Yeah, the dog looks. He does not like being in the water. He should have been
The
smiling,
dog looks
laughing.
like he
The color
wants to
should
get
be
the
different.
fuck out of there.
Why don't you use a face app and make both of them smile?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think this is beyond Face App's capability.
I mean, could you zoom in on his face? It just looks like he's like he knows he's doing something wrong, and he like just got caught doing something
Why
wrong.
are you guys
Like that's what it looks like. Like someone just caught him. He's like, "Oh shit, you caught me with the dog." Like that's just the look that I get, and then that's kind of confirmed with the look that the dog has. like it just looks like something went down that wasn't appropriate, and the dog is feeling really sad about it, and the guy just got caught red-handed. Look at the dog.
The dog is like, "Help me!"
All right.
Twice. Okay.
So that's just a roundabout way of saying
No.
Probably shouldn't use this photo on your dating profile.
It's very roundabout. Now that you have your whole D&D backstory, probably change your photo. The idea of the photo's cute. Why don't you get one where you're like running with your dog, if you're like throwing a ball, if you get like an action shot where you're throwing a ball and the dog's kind of like splashing water ahead of you and you're like laughing or smiling, all of that would be like a better way to play into the dog because your dog's super fucking cute.
Oh yeah, adorable dog.
Okay, this one is also a no in my opinion. It looks his body, his head and body are like really weird. He looks very uncomfortable right now. He has some blemishes or some shit on his face, or like maybe he underslept. I don't know, but his body language isn't good. I just think the body language is the issue here. So this one is a hard no for me.
It looks a little contrived, but I want to see other photos of him because
he should have washed his. Well, he should have washed his hair a little bit. His hair does look a little greasy. He could take out the blemishes with like what is it? The brush tool on an app.
This one is better. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the last photo he has the right idea in the sense of like photos where it's looking up at you tend to do better. You know, he was showing off like his this area.
I think if he just posed even like if he like men doing like more boxy movements with their body and poses can make you look like larger. So if he had the same thing but like his arms were dynamic, or if he was like playing with a collar or something like that, like just interacting with the space around him, it would look a little bit less stiff. The expression itself though isn't too bad. If you like imagine if he had that expression but he was like playing with his collar or something like that.
The biggest issue is probably the earphones. Like, why? And why don't you have Bluetooth ones, bro?
E-boy vibe. It's got painted nails too.
OkCupid found in a like a 10-year-old study. OkCupid found that photos of men where they're looking away do better than when they're looking at the camera. So just putting it out there.
I'll be clear though. I like that photo. I don't think it's too bad.
Okay.
I think that's
he
better
looks
than
the
the
most
next
attractive.
one.
He looks the most attractive in that photo.
Yeah, that's why I was also saying, like, what else does he look like? Because that last photo, I think, is better than I see your point with this thing, but he looks way more like masculine in this photo than he does on, like, this guy. I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I'd want. So can you go up a tad? The second photo, I'm just like, all right, this guy looks like he lifts whatever. Like, you know, I wouldn't want to fight with him. But then the
looks like a
third
different
photo.
guy.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a different person almost.
In every photo, he looks like a different person.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of hard to tell. I'm like, I don't know what he actually looks like.
I'm really not
a hot photo. I'll just say that. I find it attractive.
Yeah, for me, this one is definitely a no-go, but I guess to each their own. Third one, I think, is the best one out of the bunch, in my opinion. This one, he looks like sinister almost. He's like, I want the dog back. But the third one, I think he looks more or less okay. Yeah, I don't know. The only one out.
You know what? Denton brought up a really great point of like him looking different every photo. I think that's very dangerous in the sense that a girl's going to be like, okay, which one's the real you? You know, like, I don't know what I'm swiping right on.
That's the main one. I would agree with Denton. It's like you look like a different, like this guy looks like an artsy guy who does like photography, is maybe like slender. Might like know like a really good like vegetarian restaurant to go to or something. Whereas the second guy looks like a gym bro who like it might like kind of toss you around and like be a good fuck. So it's really, I really can't get an idea of what you actually look like because your photos are so different, which might make me swipe left because I'm like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Let me just very quickly pull up my Instagram so I can just show these guys an example of what I think would make like a better photos for this guy. Okay, so profile.
What accounts are you following, Alex?
There's some serious self-reports going on right now.
Matt Walsh, okay, he's a fucking political streamer. Okay, I don't know why he has.
I know Matt Walsh.
Yeah,
that was him.
Okay,
he's the guy who did like that awful documentary. What is a woman or whatever?
The women.
Where he just like brings on like
if Austin Summers was here, he would try to debate you on that.
I would love to. I hate that documentary. It's so bad.
Guys, let's bring Austin Summers back. Austin versus Kyler debate.
All right.
Come back, Austin.
You know, I need to watch it. I'm familiar with parts of it. I watched parts of it, and I actually kind of liked it. But I think I would need to watch the whole thing before we can have a debate about it. But I'll try to do that. But anyway, okay, so this is, I think, a much better dog photo. It's not perfect. I think this photo is a little posed, but I think this is a much better dog photo. The dog looks happy. I look, somewhat like I'm okay. It's more natural setting. Like, I think that's a better type of dog photo. Or, okay, if not that, then do something like I would say like this is a decent dog photo. Combining fitness with a dog, or like hugging the dog, or like
That one's
fucking
great.
chilling with a dog, or I don't know, or like without a shirt holding a dog. Actually, this one's kind of weird. Same issue as the thing I made fun of the guy for. But yeah, like I like this one. I think this is a decent one. But also like photos like, okay, like this is a good photo in my opinion. Like good face, you can see that I look good in it, like way better than real life in all honesty. Background is nice and blurred. I'm doing something, good body language. Like I think that's a good photo. Like if you get a photo like on a bike, that's cool. Playing guitar, that's cool. Shit like that. Yeah, so those are just ideas. Barbecuing, that's an idea. Pouring wine, that's an idea. Yeah, so just ideas for guys.
Can I just say, the very first photo, you look majestic.
I know. Sexy as fuck, right?
That
You
is
look like an
great.
Adonis, man.
I know.
It looks like it's painted.
Just some ideas
And
for the guys.
Rhaegar looks extra cute.
Yeah, Rhaegar is always extra cute. Okay, let me pull up the next one. Oh, roll it to my.
Damn, you guys are mean.
That's
Is that a
solid
meme?
W there. That was hilarious. What if
Is
it's
that
the
a
real
meme?
Rollo Tomassi and he's just like, man, I really
Oh,
wanna
it's
do the Rollo
Rollo
profile."
Tomasi. Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought you guys were laughing.
Oh,
at the
you guys
old
thought
guy.
we were mean because it was like an old guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was Rollo looking real fit. I'm used to him like on his podcast where he looks like kind of greasy.
Okay.
We don't accept Rollo compliments here, Kyla. So I'm joking. No, those
Yo.
are honestly good photos of him. So I don't know if he wanted to put his profile up on, I don't know.
He's a good married man.
What are old people websites? Fucking ChristianMingle.com? I don't fucking know.
No.
I'm sure
Grant,
Frankie will.
like grandpacupid.com or something. I don't know. Okay, let's take a look at this dude. So first photo, like he's too cropped out. Like half his body is missing. That's a no-go. This photo is just too cropped. Like, yeah, you can't have a photo where you're like literally half the photo does not involve him if you think about it.
So if you're the submitter and you have that photo still, if there's more of you in the rest of the photo, like say you just like kind of artificially cropped it, just put your arm back in. And that would immediately improve it. If it was cropped properly, do you guys still like the photo or?
Yeah, if you have the original photo and it's not that cropped, then I would say change it. But I don't know
Is
if
it
it
blurry
does.
like this? Because it looks a little pixelated.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I'm zooming in. That's on my end because I'm zooming in a lot because he sent me like the zoomed out version. Okay, same issue here. Like you're like 10% of the photo. That's the thing. Like look how much space there is. Like you need to be like the main center of the photo. Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
The same thing. Actually,
Yeah.
There's hardly any of you. Like all we really have seen, at least your face is consistent. So it's really obvious what you look like now. But that's kind of the only thing that this profile's got going for you right now. And like some level of like dynamic interests, like you like to rave and go to weddings. I guess is kind of what I get. So it doesn't communicate a lot about you. I know your face is the same, but I
don't think in any of these photos he's like the central point of focus of the photo. I think that's the issue because like the emphasis was with him and his friend on the right side. The rave one is the emphasis is on the rave, not on him. And then that photo with him with the sunglasses, the emphasis is on the background and not him. So you need to take photos where you're the focus of the photo. The girls aren't swiping right on. Obviously, the things that you're doing are important in the photo, but they're swiping right on you, not the rave.
I kind of agree with this comment. I'm getting nerd vibes from that dude. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting too.
Is
That's
it just
kinda
those 3 photos and that's it? Did he have more?
No, there's 3 more. Yeah, let me zoom in on those. Okay. Okay, barely visible as well. It's too dark. I don't like. They found when they did the OkCupid study, they found that black and white photos do worse. Actually, no, it's a different study. Black and white photos do worse than photos that are colored. So scientifically, black and white
Makes
photos
sense.
should not be used.
That makes a
Also,
lot of
like,
sense. Like what Den talked about a while ago, of like having certain colors that like pop out, right? That makes perfect sense.
like none of these photos are good. Like this one, like I don't even know which one you are. No girl's gonna bother looking. Well, no offense, but all your friends look
Yeah.
super nerdy. And then this one again, same issue. You're like 5% of the photo. Like
It's like
you're
this
such
guy
a
like is trying to like highlight to everyone the fact that he's short. It's like he's actively trying to make himself look short. He's putting himself in like the bottom, like 1/3 of each photo.
Well, except for that center one with the group of, I would agree. The group of friends in general, I just wouldn't put a group of friends. In my view, none of your friends are actually agree to being on your Tinder profile, so that's kind of weird. And then also, it's just like you just never really know which one you are. But he's obviously taller. He's the tallest person in that photo.
Well, he looks really young in it. He looks like he's like 18 in that photo. That's not a good look for a girl. Girls will
Unfortunately,
swipe.
it doesn't really stand out.
I
So
do
like
find
if you, sorry, go ahead, Dan. Sorry. No, go ahead.
I do find having one black and white photo on occasion of the black and white. So I have one of my best rated photos is a black and white photo. The color's just a little off. I switched to black and white. I got like a 9.7 out of 10. I do find that like sometimes on occasion, like sometimes having like really colorful, and then the black and white contrast can be really good. But none of his photos really are, that well edited or look that professional. So I don't know if that pulled it off with that. Those, I do like a few of these, but the one black and white one does not look like the rest of them in all the other photos. Like he does again look different in every photo. Like
I honestly don't like any one of these photos. If he was my client, I would have him scrap every single one of these.
Yeah, they're all bad for sure.
Yeah, I just think none of these are like cutted. He's not enough of a Giga Chad to just be able to get away with the shitty photos. He's like a slightly above average looking guy, and he needs to have like good photos in order to succeed.
Yeah.
And these are just not going to cut it. So like I would just like for this guy go on my Instagram and just try to like look at my my photos for ideas. But yeah, like you want to be like the star of the show photo. The photo needs to be taken with good lighting. The angle has to be good. You have to be in the center. You can't be like the side of the photo with shitty lighting. Yeah, it's just not going to cut it.
Well, that's good news for this guy because I mean, if he's not doing too well, then he has an answer. Just literally change everything. I want to comment really quickly on the group photo. The group photo, it can. This is a technique that I've used before and helped other guys with. It can actually be very effective, but you need to be the tallest guy in the group. You need to be either, if it's a group photo, you either need to be directly in the center or you need to be off to the side where you're basically out angling everybody and you look way bigger. And you need to look the best. So it could either enhance your profile or really take away from it if you're not careful. But group photos can be very effective for sure.
I personally think they're overrated.
Rhaegar agrees with me.
That wasn't Rhaegar.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, I think it was someone else's.
That was mine. Sorry.
Oh.
It's all good. Okay, let's move on to the next guy. Hi, I like your thoughts on the ring prompts as well. Okay, let's see. Oh no. I think this guy needs to grow out his facial hair a little bit and pluck his eyebrows. His eyebrows are too thick. I don't know. Let's just
depends. When he grows out that facial hair, the heavy brow might actually work really well, especially if he gets like a really dark but like kind of close stubble. That can look really good with those heavy brows, but he'll have to like kind of weigh it. And once he grows it in, if it's still too heavy up here, then yeah, I would thin it a little bit at the bottom actually to give his eyes a little bit more of a lift rather than thinning it from the top.
Dude looks like he has a pretty good jaw, though. We'd have to look at it from a different angle. Yeah. So, I mean, if you have a really good jaw, like sometimes a beard can cover it and work against you. Sometimes it can still work.
And to be honest, starting with more eyebrow versus not enough eyebrow is always good. Like you can always tame your eyebrows down. If you're born with like no eyebrows, that's rough. So He's got great eyebrow genetics. Like, holy shit, those are amazing.
I personally definitely think he could
Caterpillar
benefit.
eyebrows.
I personally definitely think he could benefit from some facial hair.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Let's look at the other photos.
Okay.
I can already tell. Wow, that is awful, bro. What are you?
Group photo.
It's not just a group photo. It's like zoomed out. It's like taken on a GoPro or something.
It looks awkward and very gangly.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing it's doing for you is it shows that you're quite tall. But yeah, in general, it's just not doing anything. If I saw this on a profile, I would immediately just move to the next image or profile.
He would look really good in a suit, though. If he was wearing like a well-tailored suit, he'd look killer in it, especially at his height.
Yeah, perhaps. What else does he have? I don't know. Lighting is pretty poor.
What the hell is this, bro? What are you doing? It looks
like
he
this
was
is not that bad. He just has to be more zoomed in. Can we zoom in on it and see what it looks like if we?
I don't know why. It just looks like he was like hiding behind that pole, and we're playing hide and seek, and he just got caught. Like it just looks weird.
I think he should definitely be on the other side of the pole because he's got a little bit of shadow on his shoulder. But the lighting's actually pretty perfect because it's golden hour.
Wait, you can see the cameraman in the reflection.
And then he needs to, which is why he needs to crop it, right? If he cropped it like kind of at that edge and cut out the cameraman, on my screen I actually cut out that edge and you can't see it. And then if he posed a little bit, so like the main part that's really awkward about this photo is that your hands are just hanging down. Again, putting your hand up on your hip, kind of balling your hand into a fist and putting that against your hip instead. Again, like moving your arms, like just interacting with the world around you is going to make a photo that much more like dynamic and interesting. Because it's actually like the scenery is really nice, the porch is nice, it's interesting, there's a lot going on. You're just fading into it because you're doing nothing and the scene's doing a lot.
Yeah, personally, I'm not a fan of this one. I think he looks like he just looks awkward in it, like his body language. He just looks like, okay, mom, let's take the photo. Fine, just one photo, mom. Like, I don't know. His shirt is also too loose on him. Like, it's not fitted to his body. Yeah, and also like the lighting and the shading doesn't help. Like the fact that he's like in the shadows. He's like, I'm a creature of the shadows. I don't know. Me personally, this one would be like a no. Oh no, this is even worse.
Bro, what are you doing?
You guys are savages. Damn.
We're trying
to be nice.
We'd be doing him a disservice if we were nicer.
I mean, this one gives off,
at least in this.
I'm not gonna lie, this one gives off gay vibes, like the girls.
Well, I think it's trying to be emulate Step Brothers, you know, because Step Brothers that's like the photo in Step Brothers. I'm pretty sure that's the joke. So I could see if the girls are like big Step Brothers fans, maybe, but just because you're a Step Brothers fan and she is too, that I don't think that's gonna make her swipe right. She'll probably be like, that's funny, and swipe left on you.
Look at the caption. My favorite way to spend a summer afternoon is with you. Like, it looks like it's like his boyfriend or something, like based on the caption and the look. Like, I don't know. Like, sure, if the girl knows Step Brothers, but I think that's like less than 20% of girls.
I think the biggest L on this whole thing is the answer with you. I think like the photo's a little weird. I think if it's meant to be a meme, you should play it up more because you're in your comment. Just 1 second. In your comment, you should probably mention something about the show or have like a line from Step Brothers if it's a meme. If the point of the photo is supposed to be a meme, then it could work if you like added in a caption. But when your answer is with you, that always gives me vibes of like, there's this classic thing that men do when they're like trying to hit on you, but they're kind of awkward about it. And I feel really bad because I know that they're trying their best, but it makes you uncomfortable. Where like, they're like, hey, you have really beautiful eyes. And then they like stare at you really intensely and it's like awkward. And you're like, thanks. And they're like, what are you doing later? And you're like, going home. That's kind of the vibe, these types of answers. Like when I read answers, like, what am I doing this afternoon? I'm hanging out with you or something like that. And I'm just kind of like, no, you're not. Don't insert yourself in my world yet. So yeah, that would be my recommendations.
I think this guy could look absolutely fucking incredible though. If he did add the beard and then he did clean up his eyebrows along with like at his height, he could crush it if he was just like hit the right angles to do like a bunch of photos. I feel like he's just a little awkward of a guy, so he's a bit of a nerdy guy, so he doesn't know what a good photo looks like. So if you had like a guy like had Alex behind the camera or something like that, I bet you that he could figure it out pretty fast. It wouldn't take him too long to get amazing photos.
Yeah, everyone in the
should
chat.
hit the gym a bit too. I give that recommendation to everybody, but like get your bench up to like at least somewhere in the 200s, and that'll make a big visual difference just in general.
Yeah, everyone in the chat is saying it's Step Brothers, so I guess that's a thing. But again, I think like most girls are not going to get that reference, so they're just
Not without the comment being something about a Step Brothers quote at all. I wouldn't get that.
Even with that, it's like a slightly older movie. Like I think a lot of girls haven't seen it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys ever get people to send in like what they want? Like, because guys looking for like long-term relationships probably should have a bit of a different profile than guys who are like mostly looking for like casual sex.
I think it's pretty safe to say that 99% of the people on my channel are looking for casual.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, to get a good relationship, you have to go through the casual stage anyways. You got to get options as a guy. Then from the options, you get a single girl. Like you're not going to choose like, so being a guy with options, now you're going to be more cool, more relaxed. Also, girls like guys that are surrounded by, other girls. Makes it tenfold easier to get a more high quality woman.
For sure. For the most part, I guess like a lot of people that come to my channel, for example, are like typically people with like disabilities or have like autism and stuff like that. So like they're never going to be a guy that's slaying bitches and has like 30 options. They're looking for like a very niche woman who is going to be like uniquely attracted to them and figuring out how to like work within like a very niche population. So that's probably just a difference of like background, but I understand.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really a fan of any of this guy's photos. I think he needs to start from scratch as well.
He's only 5'11".
Wait, he said look at your profile too. It says about me. It says plant daddy. See that?
Yeah, but the problem even if he has the best bio ever, the girls are not even going to get to that if they swipe left when they see the first photo.
Oh, I didn't say plant daddy's a compliment. If your implication is that it's vegan, we can tell by your physique, bro. Sorry.
I don't think
You
that's
need to start lifting and
I'm usually if somebody says plant daddy, I'm gonna read that as like he is into gardening and like has plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like a meme that arose out of COVID, like plant mom, plant dad, because you like all you can have during COVID is plants.
I just instantly went to veganism for some reason. I'm sorry.
Damn.
He reminds me.
But I still stand by what I said. You need to start lifting. There's no excuse. Any guy can get a little bit jacked. You're not gonna get super yoked, but just hit the gym, man. Get to the point where your bench is in the 200s, and you'll be doing a lot better.
200s, holy shit!
I think every man can get into the 200s, like low 200s.
I agree, yeah, but I just don't want to like be blasé and be like it's easy. Like it's gonna take a fair bit of work to get to 200.
Well, it's easy to get there if I'm your personal trainer. Subtle.
I would say big takeaways. 1, grow out your facial hair a little bit. 2, do something about these caterpillar eyebrows, maybe trim them a little bit. 3, I would say maybe get a fade. 4, better fashion, no loose clothing, nothing that's like hanging on your body. The clothes should fit you nice and well. 5, go to the gym. 6, no more bro photos. That's like my takeaways for this guy. Now, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
I think you're right. Yeah.
You've got a lot to work with. You're taller. You got a really good jawline. Your eyebrows are amazing. You can do tons of shapes with them. If you want to do like a hot boy eyebrow slash, like there's tons of things. What I would say mostly is like when I look at your aesthetic, I see a guy who doesn't think about aesthetic. And here's the unfortunate reality that men have to contend with. Even if you don't think about aesthetic, you're still communicating one. And so like you may as well think about it a little bit because right now your aesthetic communicates. I don't really think about my aesthetic, which is an aesthetic that you can communicate, but is that what you want to be communicating? Or do you want to communicate like more like modern tech? Like look through on Pinterest, find an aesthetic that you actually really like, and then just build your wardrobe around that. Yeah.
That's really good advice. So when you say aesthetic, you mean like kind of like the overall theme of the profile? Or are you saying more specifically like what he's wearing?
clothes, right? So like if you look at all of us actually, so Kevin has a very distinctive aesthetic. Like if I use Kevin as an example, right? You've got lots of color a lot of the time. You have a very nicely shaped kind of stubble going on, and you have blue eyes with like kind of a darker brow. And I think a lot of your aesthetic plays off of the fact that you're like a little bit more olive complexion with the dark hair, dark brows, with the blue eyes. Now everyone in my chat is probably screaming about who Kevin is. I'll just put you more up on screen. And so in every way, you always have an aesthetic. And I think men forget about that. And so something dynamic about it. So like my aesthetic is pretty clear, right? I've got a bit of a goth mommy vibe, but I'm a little bit more sporty and athletic as well. So I've got like the choker, I've got the dark hair, and then I wear a lot of like browns or like tighter fitting crop tops. And that's a very distinctive aesthetic that I have. It communicates something. It communicates I like the gym, right? It communicates a bunch of things. So does your aesthetic. So does Denton's. Everyone says, even if you don't think about it.
So I want to ask you then, like, if there's a different aesthetic between different photos, do you think, in your opinion, that would like damage the profile as a whole?
Not if they're at least intentional. I'd be confused. So like say I was going through a person's profile and there was like a very strong gothic aesthetic and then the next one was like a surfer boy vibe. I would be like, who the fuck are you? Like, who are you? Which is why most men, especially like straight men looking for women, if you just think about and put together a coherent aesthetic, you're already like ahead of 80% of men in the dating game, because most men don't put together an intentional aesthetic. So like think about the colors, the things that you coordinate together. You could just pick, you can pick a celebrity and be like, I'm just going to wear their aesthetic. That's fine too. Just pick something because it's being communicated.
Yo, you know what I just realized? Kevin looks like sort of like Emil Hirsch from Alpha Dog. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do a little.
Yeah, I've gotten comparisons to Emil Hirsch before.
Look at that.
Except I don't think he has any Asian in him, so maybe it's just a coincidence.
Bam.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Did I also accidentally murder some random poor kid?
I don't know.
We don't know
he did an Alpha
weird
Dog
backstory with the dog, so I don't know.
Coach White
many things, Kevin.
Well, someone says this, I get Hawaiian vibes. I'm half Japanese, so there's a lot of half Japanese people in Hawaii, so maybe that's why. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Emil Hirsch is the man. He's one of my favorite actors, so I'm flattered. Alex, thank you.
Yeah,
he's a really good actor. Yeah, I love Emil Hirsch.
Yeah, he's amazing.
All right, so should we move on to the call-in part of the show? We went through a few profiles. I feel like it's generally we get the picture. There was one chat, and then there was a whole bunch of bad profiles. Basically, any profile review, you get the one chat, and then a bunch of fairly poor profiles.
Damn.
All right, guys. So I dropped a link. Let's see. No, you don't have to show your face. So yeah, and then you can ask any question. We'll do like maybe a 5 or 10 minute limit for each person. But yeah, you can ask any question or whatever is on your mind. Okay, I just dropped the link. Someone's asking me how much do you bench, Alex? 220 for 5 reps, I guess. I don't know. Nice. I'm not like some gym bro.
That's still good, though.
Oh, there it is. Where did you drop the link? Is it in your chat?
Yeah.
Or is it on your description? I'll just share
it's in the chat. Oh, cool. Yeah. I can text it to you.
That would be great.
Yeah, 1 second.
Is it the one that I used to get in here? Is it the same one?
Exactly.
Okay, I got it. All right. Do you guys monitor this? Oh, I guess they go in the back end, and then you can just pull them.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, we can probably pull this guy up. I mean, he sent a super chat, so.
Okay. I'll do it real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nick Abraham. Let's see where he is. Huh. Damn, there's like 20 million profile reviews, but I don't see a Nick Abraham. Did he by any chance send it under a different thing? Yeah, Nick. Who did you send it under?
Nicholas, maybe?
I'm gonna share. Well, I'm just gonna share my screen and then. Okay, so I see Nick O'Callaghan. I I see a Nicholas Ortiz, Nikolai Antonov, but I don't see anything resembling this dude. Let me try to sort my inbox a different way. Okay. Wow, there's so many. I'm sorry, guys.
Did a lot of the ones go into your spam folder or something?
No. We have like a pretty advanced organization system over here. Okay. Yeah, no. Nick, yeah, you have to tell me what email it was sent under so I can find it. But we already have one guy backstage. Okay, let me see if I can quickly police review Nick Abraham. Okay. Yeah, I don't see his chat. So Nick, just let me know who you sent it under, and I'll try to like find it. But if I have to go through every email, it's going to take a while. All right, let's add Seth to the screen.
Hey, what's up?
Yo, what's going on?
So my biggest question is just like, where the hell are the women? Like when in just living daily life, I never see people my age. Like it's like they just don't go outside. And I'm assuming the answer is going to be like, oh, go to bars or clubs, but like, fuck, that's not really my vibe. And so
where do you live? What city are you in? What city are you in?
Denver, Colorado.
What, you walking around Denver? You don't see any girls?
I'm just outside of Denver, right? Not like downtown Denver, but in the Denver metro area. But correct, yeah.
What are your hobbies?
Very rarely see.
What are your hobbies? What are your hobbies? Like, where do you?
I'm an athlete, so I coach CrossFit and I train CrossFit and I go to raves.
Okay, so you're in like dominantly male-dominated spaces, excluding raves. There's got to be lots of girls at the raves.
Yeah, I should say that, but that is a fucking hard environment to pull.
Yeah, I mean everyone's on drugs, so I wouldn't recommend.
I feel like raves are pretty easy. I used to go to raves when I was like 22, 23. Even with my dog shit. I used to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can have, maybe there's some good advice there. I struggle. Like, I'll get good vibes, I'll get numbers, but people are so flaky in that environment, right? Everyone's on drugs. Like by the time the end of the night comes, it's like any plans that were set in place are out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
That
depends on like how big the rave is too. Like I was at, and that's a big issue, the people being on drugs. So I was at EDC this past year, and the girl I was with, she like snorted too much Special K, and then like she was like throwing up the whole night. And it was just weird. Like I understand how rave seems like it would be a good environment, but like it seems that way, but in actuality, it's a little bit more complicated. I know what you mean, but on that.
Yeah.
Wait, are you on dating apps?
I'm banned from almost all of them. I've been straight up banned from Hinge, and then on Tinder and Bumble, I've been shadow banned. Like I literally get nothing anymore.
How are you banned?
I'm not sure. They don't actually tell you. Like they used to be very effective, and I was using them, but
this is Sussy Baka. Why are you're not sure, but you're banned from all the dating? What do you have to do to get banned off of dating apps? Don't you have to get
be Alex from Playing with Fire?
Yeah, it's actually not that
Alex,
hard.
you're
to
banned?
Yeah, I'm banned.
Well, I thought
it's more like you say something that someone disagrees with, and you get reported. But so those are unless I were to get a new number, unfortunately, those are out of the picture.
Well, I used to think I was shadow banned until I worked on my profile more. Maybe you just don't have I mean, it's a lot of effort to get through to it, but it might just be for the simple fact that like dating apps for guys are extremely, extremely competitive, man. Like you might have some killer photos,
used to be reasonably successful at dating apps. I definitely had work to do. I definitely could have gotten better pictures, but there was a period where I was reasonably successful, and then I tried to get back on them using the same pictures, and I got nothing. So that's kind of what led me to believe it was shadow ban.
Can we take a quick look at your profile?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any of the apps or anything anymore. I can pull up some of the pictures that I used if that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
yeah.
Let me pull them up on my laptop real quick.
Okay.
How do you
like share on here?
I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find them first.
Because it is definitely possible that you are, you might be banned off Hinge, but maybe you think you're shadow banned off Tinder and Bumble, but in reality, it's gotten more competitive since the last time you joined, and you're not really getting matches. I don't know. I'll be able to
Yeah,
tell
no,
once
that's definitely a real possibility. I'm just trying to find my folder here.
But aside from dating apps, I would say that why not just like go into Denver and like walk around and like just like pick up chicks during the daytime?
So during the day, I mean, I could. I guess that seems like would the suggestion literally just be to walk around downtown, just walk around the streets? Like that doesn't.
Yeah, like I used to do this all the time. I used to like like with a friend, we would just walk around. We'd like get coffee and we'd just like walk around for an hour and just pick up girls and get a bunch of phone numbers.
Okay. I mean, I'll have to actually give it a shot. I've not actually just tried walking.
All right. I'll give you my advice, and I'm super curious to see what the other 3 dating coaches think about it. I typically recommend a couple of locations. Think about where women are that are also decent quality women that you'd be interested in. They're often going to be at certain fitness centers. So have you ever done indoor bouldering or rock climbing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
The culture there, like every time I go to a different, like I've now traveled and done some rock climbing, and the culture is pretty consistent for indoor bouldering. It's typically a decent number of like really cute women and men, and it's very, very social. So it's really easy to establish rapport, and you don't even have to do as many of like cold approaches. I would agree with Alex as far as like if you're nervous about cold approaches, just doing the reps to get it in. It's a good skill to have, but rock bouldering and all these sorts of things are really easy icebreakers. Another one that is really, really undersold is dance classes, like salsa and sort of stuff like this. It's filled with women. You get to touch them, and there's an activity going on that you can talk about. So it's really easy for breaking the ice. This is why rock climbing and other sorts of activities. And if you guys want to go on a date or something like this, you have a really easy idea of what to do together. You can go rock climbing together if you've met through rock climbing. You can go dancing together if you've met through dancing. So it's like a super easy icebreaker. There's tons of women in these locations. They're decently fit and active because they're at some sort of athletics, and you're athletic yourself, you do CrossFit and stuff like that. So this is going to blend really well. So I'd look at activities like this. First and foremost. My third one that I typically give that everyone hates is volunteering, particularly volunteering in some sort of like help field. There's just a lot of nice women that do the bulk of all volunteering. It might not be the sexiest place, but that is where I met my now husband, is through volunteering, and he met lots of women through that actually. So the first 2 though might interest you more because it's a hobby as well. So
yeah, I mean,
I like all those. Yeah, I like all those suggestions. I would try all those if you're down with activities. Me personally,
really good suggestions. Yeah.
Can I go down on the line?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Appreciate it.
All right, here, man. All right, so check us out. Number 1. You already made one good point, which you're like, unless I change my phone number. So, I mean, if that is the issue, why not change your phone number? Number 2,
or just do Google Voice.
Oh yeah, there's also, you can do like, I don't know if you can actually do it through this, but there's this app that I use called Text Now. I use it for work to do with my clients, but I also do it with, girls just in case, they're a fucking weirdo. You can probably use it for dating apps as well. You can probably use it through the dating apps. It's free.
What did you say it was called?
Text Now. So Text Now is all one word. It's a purple app. You can also
give it a shot. I mean,
but we're just getting a new phone number, man. I mean, like,
yeah.
I like being, I don't like being excuse oriented. I like being solution oriented. Like that's one solution already. We could also try new photos. Like start taking a ton of new photos. Try to get even fucking better photos than before. Maybe they were working for some reason in the past for whatever reason. Maybe there's more competition or area. What city are you living in? Is it a big city, a small city, a medium-sized city?
I mean, it's Denver metro area, so I'm right outside Denver, sort of in like the suburban type area.
Do you think it's like that good for like? You don't think it's that good for going out approaching girls? You said.
I mean, in my area, I literally never see people my age. Like,
it's time to move somewhere else in Denver. What do you think?
I mean, for that, so I just moved to my current location specifically to be close to my gym, right? So like I'm basically running that business, and so I'm coming and going from that all the time, and so I really needed that to be close. So maybe not as far as moving, but I mean, there's a lot within driving distance that I can still go on my free time.
And how old are you?
22.
22? Oh, dude, you're so fucking young. Look, all right, so here's the cool ass fucking thing about this. The prime of a guy's life in dating is like mid-30s. Like dude, you have so much fucking time. If I were you right now, like I would like let go of the idea of even dating a girl and literally play the field and just kind of get used to like. So here's the thing: there's this really good quote that I heard from I cannot remember the fucker's name, but I do remember this. The idea is that a lot of people in dating, they try to force relationships. And when you try to force relationships instead of completing yourself. So here's the idea. You should be a man on your purpose, chasing your shit. And then through the act of chasing your shit, you start drawing people and women to you along the way. By trying to find like a relationship, you're going to end up deciding and settling on a girl that's not perfect for you, as opposed to like finding, like completing yourself, making your own puzzle complete, having a purpose, having a mission, and then chasing that shit. You know, girls start flocking to you. And from all those girls, you choose the one you want. Like they're all like, it's not your job to find a relationship. It's a girl's job to tie you down to a relationship if you're that kind of guy. Like fuck that shit, man. Like, dude,
I don't think he's saying. I don't think he's saying though that he's trying to date, right? I think he's just looking to find
more girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would be open to dating, but I gotta have the fucking options first.
Yo, really quickly. So you're a CrossFit coach. Do you have any qualms about dating girls from your gym, or are there like no girls at your gym?
I've tried. It's gone very poorly, just for obvious reasons.
Well, what are the reasons? Because I'm a personal trainer. I used to work at a bunch of gyms, and I've had a lot of success dating girls at my gym.
So there's been a couple girls that are just too weirded out at the fact that like I'm their coach versus like just a weird.
Oh, okay. So first, really, before you go on, never date any of your clients ever. That I should have prefaced it with that. So I know with CrossFit gyms, it's a bit more sort of like if an intimate setting, especially if you're doing like running classes where technically everybody's kind of in a way your client. So especially if you're like the head coach there, I totally understand that. Yeah. Cause I was going to suggest
I'm the one that runs like when a new person joins the gym, they come through me. So anyone in the gym is my client, so to speak.
Yeah.
I have that relationship with them.
Now I understand why it's tough. Yeah. You definitely don't want to do that because you can ruin your reputation as a personal trainer if you're dating your clients. So never do that.
It hasn't gone.
But if you're working at a big, sorry, go ahead, Alex.
I was gonna say, hey, so how much does it cost to join the gym? Well, there's the
one
and then there's the
fuck. Please don't do that.
And,
let me just grab my cactus really quickly and then explain to you. I hope you. I think some of you guys probably got that. Maybe not. It was a Harvey Weinstein joke.
Okay.
You didn't hear about that where
Seth,
he like jerked off into a plant?
Like, is your goal to be casually like sleeping?
Not
are you
wanting to?
Goal. Do you want a relationship long term? Is that your goal?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I disagree with I think a couple of the guys on here about like long term pursuit, but basically what my argument would be is I think it's really important if like long-term, because one of the best ways to guarantee regular sex is a long-term relationship, but a long-term relationship that is healthy and works. I think, sorry, I'm getting alerts in my ear. I'm just going to pause them because they're super loud. When we're talking about long-term relationships, we need to pair skills, looks maxing, all this stuff that's going to get you in the door. That's really great for casual sex. It's not as great for landing a relationship. I know Alex would argue that if you can have sex with a girl, she's likely to also want to date you. The issue is that she might be willing to date you, but that doesn't mean that you're a good partner, because it takes like ethics and whatnot. And so like something that like I would probably say like when I've talked with Alex, we've like debated on this for like hours straight. And one thing that like I appreciate about Alex is like he's very big about like, well, yeah, of course not, but like I just want to treat my partners well anyways. Like that's self-evident. The issue is like if we're giving you practical advice, I don't want to assume that things are self-evident. So like all the skills that they're giving you is really good to get you in the door. The issue is that these things aren't the foundations of making like a good long-term relationship. And so what you're going to want to do is like focus on certain like values and stuff that you want and think about the type of women that you think would match better into your life. Like what are your long-term goals in your life and what are the type of people and women that would match that lifestyle? And then going to areas where those women tend to be is going to be like your best strategy. So like I'm all for like casting your net wide, dating lots of girls, getting to know what you're interested in. I don't know how much you've dated at all. So like I'd highly recommend if you've never dated before, like date around just to figure out what you even like. Yeah. And then start paring down like what are your actual values? Like what do you like? Do you like a more chill girl or do you like a girl who's like a little bit uppity because it's like it's a little stressful but it's kind of fun. The sex is really good. Like what do you actually like in a partner? And then start moving to areas where those women tend to be.
So That, I mean, what you just said is exactly what I've worked through in my head. I've gone through a period of sleeping around. It was fun. It was cool. I developed some skills. I got over fear of talking with people. Great, cool, whatever. But it was kind of, fulfillment didn't last for very long. And so that's kind of why I shifted my focus to like, oh, I kind of want to have an actual relationship. And I've gone through that exact thing of like, okay, well, where are these women? And I just wasn't really sure where to look. And I do think the climbing gym and the dancing one would be a good, especially the dancing for me, because I'm fucking terrified of dancing.
Well,
Yeah.
you would
not robot.
You'd
music.
ideally want a girl that's into. It seems like CrossFit is your life. You'd ideally want your girlfriend to be into CrossFit too, right?
That would be really cool, yeah. But I wouldn't
So-
actually say it's necessary.
But if she's
Well,
climbing
the
and
table.
dancing, there's a likelihood that she's into fitness. And I'm going to be honest, like when it comes to like interests, it seems like, especially women are just like kind of nice and chill. And they tend to be like, whatever you like to do, I like to do, which is a super cool thing about women that they'll often like offer. And so if she's already into dancing and like any fitness related thing, there's a high chance that she'd be interested in potentially doing some CrossFit with you as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I would say like the big takeaways. I do like what Kyler says about like doing activities. So rock climbing. That's where my cousin met his wife. You could do yoga. I used to do a lot of yoga. Yoga is like 70% chicks, 80% girls. All of that shit, like whatever hobby you're into, you could do, and you could use it to meet girls. Or at least most hobbies. I still think that you should definitely try to get back on dating apps because that's also like a really good way. So I would either get your use Google Voice or get a different phone number. But I think you're decent looking, so you should be able to do decently on dating apps. And if you combine that with like a little bit of day game, like just like going out for like an hour on Sunday, walking around with your friend, drinking coffee, and like talking to girls, you can just like stack up a whole bunch of phone numbers. Yeah, I mean, were you able to find that folder?
I'm not on my computer, unfortunately. I'm thinking of a folder on my phone.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, there's no reason why, everyone's been banned from, a lot of people have been banned from dating apps, but I think that you can definitely get back on. So either get a different SIM card or just start off with Google Voice, create a new account using new photos, using Google Voice, get on Tinder and Bumble. You could also use some of the more niche apps, like you could use Field, you could use Seeking, you could use, what's the other one? There's one that's called, J-Swipe if you're into Jewish girls. You could do Karisma if you're into Latina girls. I mean, there's a whole bunch of niche dating apps that you could also utilize.
This is why Alex is the online dating. He's just throwing out dating apps like I've never heard of. He's like,
Yeah, I was like, I haven't heard of
if you like
these.
Jewish girls, this one. If you like half Asian girls, is this one. Really quickly, Seth, I want to
Well,
offer you
for
one
Asian
last,
girls, you want to get on Coffee Meets Bagel. There we go.
Okay, fair. I want to offer you one last suggestion, Seth. So, one way that I've dated a decent amount of girls in the gym, and a lot more than me, some of my friends did this, is like whatever the WOD was for the day, WOD of the day, just whatever the WOD was, they'll suggest to the girls to whatever girl they like to like do it with them. And there's something, especially if it's a really tough one, there's something about, I don't know, there's something there with like doing something really intense with somebody. It's like a bonding experience, And so I understand in your gym that's impossible, but maybe if you can get your workouts in at like a different, maybe a CrossFit gym, maybe that might not work. I don't know, but like,
no, I've thought about that.
Yeah.
The obstacle really there is just logistical. Like the CrossFit gyms are like fucking. Most boxes fuck like rabbits, right? So like I probably could go to another gym and make something like that work because you're 100% right. Like like doing a workout is 100% a bonding experience. You come out of the other end sweaty and breathing hard and smiling, and how about that, right? It's kind of one-to-one, But
You're looking for something with substance, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like think about what is substance to you and then like select for locations. This is why I think volunteering is a really, really good option for men to think about is first of all, it's probably going to give you more substance because volunteering, especially if you're working with like just like any group that needs help, when you work with them, it just gives you a different perspective on life. But also you're going to find a lot of women that are typically like a little bit like well-rounded. They tend to like just care a lot about other people. They're pretty kind. And it also looks really good on your resume. Like, even if you just want to think about like work stuff, like having volunteer experience and all this stuff. I know it sounds really like fruity and lame, but the reality is like if you're wanting a partner of substance, like looking in spaces where like people of substance goes is going to be really important. And then also like engaging in dates and stuff that facilitate greater substance. Yeah.
So basically, if you want to date a girl like Kyla, go to volunteer.
Well, I wouldn't recommend dating a girl like me. My husband worked his fucking ass off. Okay, I was a problem. But if you want a nice version of me, there's lots of them out there. I would just kind of challenge, for example, like I don't think it's the woman's job to anchor and create the relationship. I think if you want a relationship, it's both of you negotiating it. And a woman wants to feel pursued just as much as a man does. I don't think sleeping with her is the way to get the relationship. I think making her feel seen, respected, and loved is going to be the way that. And I know that that's super blue pill and soy sounding, but like all of the red pill stuff as far as like looks, maxing, and everything, that's great. That's going to get you in the door, but it's not going to help you have a long-term relationship or help you be a good partner necessarily.
I hear you.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Seth. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. That was a lot of really helpful advice on a lot of things.
Nice, man. Glad to hear. All right. Take care, man. All right, let's
Seth.
really quickly. We have like a whole bunch of people backstage, but there's 2 people who are begging to have their profile reviewed, and they actually donated money, and I feel bad if we don't get to them. So let's just power through these 2 profiles real quick, and then we
Sounds
can
good to me.
move on. But guys,
That first guy, we couldn't find it. Could you find him?
I found it. I was looking. Yeah,
Oh, you did. Okay.
But guys, just by the way, please do not send any more super chats to have us look at your profiles because we're moving past that, and I don't want to like take people's money without actually doing what they asked me. So please don't. Okay. Let's take.
That's why Alex is great. He's like, please don't give me money.
I
Like
would
the
feel
opposite
bad.
of like every streamer ever.
I would feel so bad if they're like, here's $10 to look at my profile. I'm like, dude, it's too late for that.
Yeah.
Watch them just be a himbo again. They're just paying $10 so they can brag about how attractive they are.
Is that what a himbo is? Is that a modern term or am I?
It's like a handsome, it's like a bimbo, but for a dude. So it's like a handsome guy. He's not very smart, but he's like, he looks good. He's kind of fun.
So I'm just a boomer then. I never even heard of himbo.
You're a maximum boomer. You're a max boomer, yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
I'm feeling old.
This is one of the better profiles that I've seen, but I do have some suggestions. Okay. It's hard to navigate. The second photo is this one. The one that's in the middle is my favorite one. I would make that your first one. The first one is decent. It's a little posed and try hard, but you could probably get away with it. I would make it your second one. I would not make it your first one. The shirtless one where you're wearing those little teeny boxers, the boxing one, I would take out.
Wait, why? Why? I think that one's great. He looks badass in that.
Yeah, not in my opinion. I think it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's just
wouldn't you say that he looks better? At least his physique looks. Maybe I'm just looking at it from a personal trainer standpoint, but like his physique looks way better in that one than in the first one. The first one looks like he's like bulking a little bit, and then that one he looks like he cut down. Maybe he actually fights in amateur fights or something. Maybe he was prepping for it. I think it's pretty cool because it's like a very niche thing, and I think it'll definitely stand out. It's like, oh, is this guy like a UFC fighter or something? Obviously he's not, but like, oh, he fights mixed martial arts. I think a lot of girls will think that's badass.
I think that's usually something that dudes think is more badass than girls do. My speculation is that most girls don't give a fuck about that. But let's put it up to Kyla. I do agree with you that his physique is better in the third one than the first one, but I generally prefer the first one. Kyla, which one do you prefer, first or third?
It's hard. So his expression on both of them are not something that I love. I'm not sure how to put my finger on it. Maybe Denton, maybe you can help me out. There's something about his expression that throws me in every one of these photos. His physique is better in the third. I would say just in every way. I think when you're cutting, your physique just looks better because you just look more cut. But his face looks scary. I think that's the best way. Like I would feel uncomfortable and kind of awkward, I think, around him.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. I feel like it's a little, I don't know. Like I think a lot of girls, like the biggest thing is like safety, and this might give like set off like a red flag with safety for no even logical reason.
It's not, and it's
Well,
not the fighting.
there's
It's his
also-
facial expression. Just to be
There's
clear.
all right. I'm sorry. I actually kind of lean more Kevin's way with this a touch. I mean, all right. So it depends again. Like, you know, I think Erudite brought this up a second ago. It's kind of like he's fitting a certain niche. I think there's a lot of girls that look at this and like they'd see status in some way. Like I know some girls who like, if you're a fighter, they feel protected because you are a fighter, as opposed to like, you know, unless the girl's like, if I go on a date, he's gonna kick my ass, which I don't think most girls are like gonna be worried about on a date. I mean, yeah, and he just mentioned here a second ago, he actually does fight in amateur UFC fights. That's to me that feels like status. Like if a girl's like, again, it's like gonna attract a certain type of girl, but I don't think like that type of girl is necessarily good or bad. It's just a type. Like she wants like somebody that's like a strong, like masculine dude. Like he's giving off the energy. He does look a little bit pouty. Like so the one. Like his face in the very first one just looks slightly pouty, like he's jutting his jaw a little bit, but I do still like the photo, like the overall aesthetic of it. Like he's going for an aesthetic throughout his profile. Like he's even doing the red. Like he's really good with understanding colors. Like he's doing like the red, like in the second row photos, he's doing like the red and then the normal photo and then the red. I'd actually, to be fair, I'd probably bring this profile down to 3 or 4 photos, like not do so many because like the red ones look very blurry, and that one where he's like holding a cigar and whatnot, I'd almost cut it out because he's I feel like the other photos are kind of doing that job for him. You know?
He looks way less ripped in that too. So,
yeah, exactly.
Like you always want to show like what your best physique.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I would say. 3 photos with you shirtless, with you like looking like you're about to fight is overkill. Take the first photo, take the third photo, take the 5th photo, send it to 5 girls with a text. Which one of these do you like more? And just figure out what the majority says and go with that. But you can't have 1, 3, and 5 together. Like I would just say limit it to 1. In terms of which one, I would just ask like 5 or 6 different girls and get feedback on that. But
I agree with that. I think that's good advice.
Okay.
Oh, he has even more pictures.
Yeah, he has a lot. 4th one, you can't see who you are. I don't think it adds anything. Again, also too many photos where you look like you're about to fight. Like 4th and 5th looks like you're about to fight. Get rid of the 4th one completely. The 6th one is decent. I would leave that, although I don't think it adds much. But you can leave that. Shit!
That's a good photo.
His best photo might be his 8th one.
Yeah, that one's really
that was
good.
really good. That should be his first photo.
Yeah, that should be his
photo.
That should be his main one. The one with the girls, I think it's okay. I would leave that. Sure, that's fine. The one with the dog, yeah, it's okay. Not that ideal, but yeah.
Makes him look short. The one with the dog makes him look short, in my opinion. The one with the girls, I don't know. But I like the one with the suit. That one, I'd make that one. I'd pick 4 photos. The first 3 in that suit photo as his first. That suit photo is fire.
Yeah. Make the suit one your main one. Figure out between these 3 photos, the 1st, 3rd, and 5th. Narrow down to one of those. Get rid of number 4. Have this one be your second. That's a pretty good look. And then wait, let me scroll down again. Get rid of the dog one. Yeah, that's fine. The girl one, I don't know. I'm 50-50 about that.
I think the girl one's pretty good. Whenever I have photos of me with girls in them, they do better. I get more matches. But it can't make it look like you're like, you know, like you're dating them, if that makes sense. There's a weird line that needs to kind of be platonic, but like not really, you know.
Better for
because you don't want to look like they're like friend zoning you.
Yeah, I would say better for casual, worse for relationships type of thing.
Okay, fair.
But you also don't need to have 9 photos. I think 4 is more than enough, 4 or 5. And so again, to quickly recap, you're gonna make the suit photo your number 1, then the one where you're standing over the thing number 2. Then you're gonna narrow 1, 3, and 5 down to 1 based on feedback. Then you're gonna make 6 1 your next one after that. That's gonna be 4, and then you can have, I don't know, if you want something a little bit more casual, have the one with the girls and scrap the other ones. Bam. Anything to add before we move on to the next guy?
No.
All right, cool.
I think his profile will do quite well. I can see him getting probably a decent amount of matches.
Just too many fighting ones, but yeah, once he removes that. Okay.
Rob TV. I know this guy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he comes on some panels sometimes. He's like, half black pill, half red pill, but very, very reasonable guy. He's cool. He's studying Japanese too. So shout out to you, Rob. He's a cool guy.
Okay. Let's see what options he has real quick. These are all like too similar for my taste. They're all like very close ups. Okay, that one. Yeah, they're
Can you
all like
zoom
super
out
close.
a little bit. There's a reason there's all zoomed in.
I can't actually. Let me try. Yeah, it won't let me. But these photos are actually all super zoomed in. Like these are all headshots. I think one headshot is good, but you don't want to have like these are way too repetitive. Like 1 and 2 is basically the same photo. Like he's also I think wearing the same shirt. No, it's slightly different, but it looks very similar. Yeah, so you can't have 4 headshots in a row. Just take I don't know. Take which one of these headshots do I like the most? Not this one. I would say maybe this one. This might be your best headshot. I don't know, but only one headshot, and then the rest should be more zoomed out. This guy's like 6'4". You're 6'4". You gotta show off your height, but you can't show off your height when it's like super zoomed in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Anything to add, guys?
I think that last photo is probably the best one, but you have to take into consideration that his hair is currently not like that. So that is something to take into account.
I also like the facial hair on this bottom one the most. Like, again, because I'm thinking again about like aesthetic now of like which aesthetic are you going for? If this is your older aesthetic, it actually works for you a little bit better. You might not want to do, maybe you're like tired of the bleaching on top or something, but I actually think the facial hair works a little bit better. I'd be curious to see how you'd look. I don't know what your facial hair growth is like, but if you could fill in even more, I think in general, having this kind of chin piece in the lip, it just ties it all in together a little bit better and kind of strengthens the look of your chin. Which when that's all shaved down, your chin is kind of fading into your jaw a little bit more.
Yeah, like 2 headshots and a body shot. He just needs to do a body shot. They're all too close.
Yeah.
Or activity. A body shot where you're like doing and interacting with the world could also make you seem more interesting as well.
Oh yeah. Whenever you do a shirtless photo where you're doing something instead of just trying to pose and show off your body, it looks so much better.
Let's take a.
There he is again.
I promise you this now. Well, again, just for this guy for this morning, this is what you want, more zoomed out, right? So you can see your body. Like here you can see me, here you can see me, right? Like I don't have that many super zoomed in shots. Actually, I don't have any. I might have really.
Congrats on that YouTube plaque.
Oh, thank you kindly. Yeah, like I only have one photo like this where it's like super zoomed in, and one of them is okay. This is me.
That
like,
looks old too, because you're much slimmer.
TRT.
Yeah, this is me like when I'm 24. But like most of my photos are like kind of more zoomed out, which is what I think you want. So again, ideas. Okay. Anyway, enough of me. Let's bring on the next person. Okay. No more profiles, guys, for today. Okay. Hello.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Good.
All right. So I guess I'm supposed to just talk about my problem?
Yeah, whatever's on your mind.
All right. So let me just take out the email that I sent. I'll just read that out. So, hi, I'm 26 years old. I'm a uni student, and I've been breaking out of my shell recently. I'm making friends, getting hobbies, exercising, etc., etc., etc. One thing that I didn't see coming is the implicit expectation that I should have a girlfriend at this point in my life. I wouldn't mind having a girlfriend, but I always figured that that's a bridge that I cross at some later point in my life. My main reason for not doing for doing it right now is because it's a massive time sink, and I want to improve myself as a person before I cast that fishing net.
Wait, bro. Let's hold up for a second. I got to weigh in on this. You don't have to justify yourself. Where's this expectation coming from? You don't have to have a girlfriend. Who says you have to have a girlfriend?
Well, I'm hearing a lot these days that you need, like, when you're a 30-year-old and you've never had a girlfriend before, that says quite a few unpleasant things about you as a person, right?
I don't think it's anyone's business whether you have a girlfriend or not. I mean, like, you don't have to justify yourself to anyone. Like,
society does give you a little shit for it, though. I get where he's coming from. Society can give you a little shit about it.
I
Like,
mean,
are you worried? Yeah, are you worried that it's going to like decrease your dating prospects in the future if like you're 30 and you've never dated? Like, do you think girls are going to be like sketched out by that, basically?
Yeah. Because like I know women in my life who have said that while I am a fun guy to be around, the fact that I've never dated, it just makes them feel like I have to like mature more as a person first.
It's tough, right? Because by the time a woman's 30, if she's dated around a lot, she really knows what she's looking for because she's had that experience. And then to some extent, she might be like, if you've never dated, I'm basically dating like a 30-year-old, 18-year-old in the dating world. Like in her mind, she's like, you don't even know what you want because you haven't really tried it out. That's probably their approach that they're having. I think it's a decent heuristic. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it necessarily true, but it's a little bit true.
I would just say, like, you don't have to tell girls that. Like, if you don't want to discuss it, like, if a girl's like, "Oh, have you ever, how many relationships have you been in?" And be like, "No, I don't want to talk about my dating past." Like, you can just like not answer that question. Like, you don't owe anyone an explanation, anyone an answer on that. Like,
Yeah, but that also feeds into my second problem. Now, I watched NotsoErudite's performance on Fresh and Fit. Pretty great, pretty great. I love that debate. So what I'm starting to like, what I got from it was that dating isn't what I thought it's supposed to be. Like for me, it was always like building some kind of relationship, maybe a bond with people, but like I'm starting to wonder if that's really the case because the way like people framed it, at least in that podcast, it was like it's like fuck, how should I say this without being mean, that women are more a means to an end, and like fuck, I don't even know how to say that without
yeah, dude, I mean, but you can't listen to the shit you hear on Fresh and Fit. You're having guys who have never been in relationships talk about what it means to be in a relationship. I mean, I would just take everything you heard on Fresh and Fit when it comes to relationships and put it right where it belongs, in the trash can.
Okay, that's a pretty sound advice, I'd say. I'm sounding pretty harebrained here because, like I said, I have been breaking out of my shell pretty recently, and like I didn't think like the way that I'm approaching this. I figured that I just go at it by my own pace, but like now I'm starting to like talk to women in my life, trying to like just make friends out of them, and suddenly like I'm a prospect for them. I mean, I could give you examples, but I don't know how much I should divulge from my life. It's an odd situation.
Well, that's up to you how much you want to divulge. But what's the? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand what exactly is the issue. Like you said, you're breaking out of your shell. You're starting to talk to girls more. That all sounds like a positive. What's the issue?
So the problem is that I can't say this without sounding like an asshole. So I guess I'm gonna sound like an asshole. I think friends of mine are like seeing me as a prospect. So there's this girl that I know, and I've already established that we're just friends, and like when she's like confiding in me and like talking about like the guys that she's thinking about going out with, she always goes, I want person A or person B. Now person A is a guy that I know, and person B, well, it's a completely different guy, but whenever she describes him, I'm like, is she just talking about me? Like, am I supposed to say something? Does that
If you want to, if you find her attractive and you're interested in getting with her, yeah. If not, then
here's the thing. Now, when I first met her, she was, sparks. I felt like, wow, this is a good person to be around. But the more I started to spend time with her, the more I realized, hang on, would dating this person be like dating my sister? Because like we have an eerie amount of things that we have in common, like downright to the birthmarks that we have in our face. So I'm like, is this person just like my second cousin twice removed or some shit? Like, what the fuck? So,
Right. So you're worried about dating them because you guys get along too well? Are you still attracted to them?
A lot less than I used to be. Like, again, this person, like, she could pass off as my sister, and it would make sense because we look the same. We have similar cultural backgrounds. We down to the
Okay,
hobbies that we have.
I'm going to pause you again. Do you want to date her?
I gotta
Okay, no,
say
then
at
don't
this
go for
point-
her. Yeah, if your answer is yes, then like no, you're not interested. So
Yeah.
you just be friends. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
depends
have a
on what you-
feeling, Raza, you probably do want to date her. You're just overthinking the crap out of this.
I would-
You hit me as somebody who's like a pretty big overthinker. Would you agree with that statement?
You know what? I'll let you have
It's
it.
not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way. So
It's just those things that I have to like unlearn, right? The farther I go with this breaking out of my shell thing. But in terms of advice, I guess that's all pretty straightforward, right?
Yep. If you're into her, make a move. If you're not, don't make a move.
Yeah, I find a lot of guys like when they first start off in the dating scene, they do a lot of self-lying. If you haven't put yourself out there yet, too, there's a good chance it's because of out of fear. If it's a chance you haven't made a move on her yet, it's out of fear. If she made a move on you, though, you probably take the hint, right? If she started making moves on you, let's say like the next time you guys hung out, she's like, "Man, Raza, you're so fucking sexy, and I really want to like go home with you right now." Would you say no?
Fuck. That would be
Come on, Raza. You know you'd be balls deep in 30 seconds. Come on.
Like fuck. I take my relationships mellow, guys. Like fuck. I'm not sure about Western courting rituals, but fuck. I feel like there would be a huge expectation of me at that point. I would say like, hey, can we just like get to know each other in that context first? Like again, what Kevin said, I'm an overthinker, so I would like to think about that kind of relationship if she brings it up.
Just don't overthink yourself out of a relationship that you want.
Okay, that sounds fair.
facts. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Well, I wouldn't worry about some arbitrary expectation. I don't think it's anyone's business how many relationships you've had or how little. If there's topics that I want to avoid, I just straight up avoid them. Like if a girl's like, ask me a question I want to answer, I'd be like, next question. Like, yeah, I mean, it also depends on how you feel about white lies. But that aside, if it's just like you're a little bit like, I don't like white lies, then I would just don't answer a question. Like, who gives a shit what anyone expects? Dude, my whole family, everyone in my family is fucking married and has kids. Like everyone. I just went to my family reunion. I'm the only one there without kids. So everyone, my uncle was like wasted. He like put his arm around me. He spent 20 minutes lecturing me and my girlfriend about how we should start popping out babies. And I'm like, dude, like, not gonna happen. Like, like I don't give a shit. And that's kind of the vibe you want to have. Who gives a shit what anyone else thinks?
Do you have the issue of breaking out of the friend zone? Because I will say, in certain cultural niches, you not dating much and being like essentially like more pure might actually be valued, right? Like in Christian or much more like kind of like culturally conservative cultures, you not dating a ton might actually be viewed as a good thing. I don't know what culture. I don't know if you're dating in a cultural niche or not. But just kind of be aware of that. If you're not dating in a cultural niche, though, then yeah, I think you can like glance over it. At some point, you're gonna have to be honest with your partner. You can't like lie to your wife. You can't be like 10 years into marriage and be like, just so you know, I've never dated anyone before. But it's not something that necessarily you have to like drop on the first date.
Well, whenever I find that I work with like guys that are virgins or not dating at all, there's oftentimes a case where there's something in psychology where you take a lot of actions, and inaction can also be an action in its own way, where you end up developing an ego or a character or a personality, and a human wants to stay consistent with past actions. And so what will happen is a person that over a period of time who stayed a virgin, he will try to stay consistent with that personality. That's just something to be open-minded to. Maybe it's like
being a virgin a personality.
Well, it's through the inaction. So you'd be afraid to approach a girl, right?
Not particularly, no.
Really?
I mean, if there's a girl that I particularly like, I'm pretty straightforward with them.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. All right, so here, I'll put it this way. As a human, whenever you take an amount of certain action, inaction is an action in upon itself. You decide not to sleep with the girl, or you deciding that I'm this or I'm that, deciding that I am labeled by the fact that I haven't been dating, your personality will try to stay consistent because, for one, you might be trying to protect yourself from pain or fear of rejection. You also could be, you might not see like the upsides to it. So what will happen is over a period of you not wanting to take the action, you'll fight it. If that makes any sense. That's just something to keep open-minded too.
So is it like the inertia from my already existing modus operandi of convincing myself that I shouldn't be in a relationship?
It could be. You could for example, there'll be something there's this thing that people do where they'll make an emotional decision and back it up logic after the fact. So I didn't cheat on my boyfriend. It just happened. Or like you go over to like she'll go over to like some guy's house and she'll be like, oh, we're just friends. But then all of a sudden you had sex. You'd be like, I never planned for that to happen. But it's an emotional decision, and the logic was found after the fact. People do that too all the fucking time. The problem is when you don't have any self-awareness, you're likely to do it a lot. If I were you, would just sit down with a notebook and pen and ask yourself, is like the reality you're having right now really what you want? Or is there something else that you look out at, like another person in a dating scene that you'd rather be? And if the answer is yes, what actions do you need to take to become that person?
All right. I guess that's a good place to start. Well, that's basically everything that I needed to ask. So thank you for your time, fellas.
Yeah.
Thanks, Razo.
Can I be honest about something? This is you might not like this. I don't know. It's gonna be a little crass.
Tear me apart, man.
I feel like it'll help you. You seem like a very nice guy. Nice guys typically. Yeah, but I don't mean that in like a. It's not a good or bad thing, I guess, per se. But what my observation is that nice guys get obliterated in dating marketplace. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So I think like I don't know. Like I think I'm not saying you can't be kind to humans or anything like that, but I think you need like a little bit more. What's the word? Like
Here's how
Get
I
like
say it.
more of an edge.
Respecting women is a great strategy, but respecting anything isn't a dating strategy specifically. It's a good ethic for living. And I think you should respect everybody. That's based. However, it's not a dating strategy. And for a lot of men, there is an element where you need a dating strategy as well.
Well, this is where like my cultural background clashes with Western cultural backgrounds. Turned off my fan so I can talk normally now. So this
Which culture is that?
I'm from Pakistan. I moved here when I was 16.
Okay.
awesome.
All right. So yeah. Hang on. Not right now. Sorry. Yeah, so this person I was talking about, we were like having dinner with person B, and like the guy was, they were being very handsy under the table, and like that completely went over my head. Like, if they're not explicitly dating, like, how would that work? Like, am I just supposed to like start touching women? Like, what? It's weird. Like I just can't process it.
Well, the personality that you're staying consistent with is not the personality that. So there's like All right, do you know why Louis C.K. got in trouble when he did what he did? It's because his personality isn't consistent with that guy who's supposed to be doing that shit. Like the personality that you took on or the personality you chose, which on some way you chose this personality through the course of your life, and now the trajectory is taking you this direction. It's not the personality allowed to do that shit. So you like.
You think that I was the one who's touching it? I'm talking about the other person who was being.
No. Like you're asking yourself, how could I touch that girl if I wanted to? Like, and do the same thing, right?
Well, I'm not really asking how can I touch a girl. Like, what are like the parameters? Like, what is the vibe check to know?
I mean, I don't know. I can tell you what I would do, and I would look at them and be like, "So threesome," but that's like I have a completely different human being than you. You are totally different than me, so it would be weird for you to act like me. So. It's like I think maybe Denton would actually be better at helping you because like we're just too different, I think, almost. So Denton, take it away.
Well, you're all right. So you have an identity, and I could tell it. Like you like the idea of being considered smart. You like the idea of being like, but I feel like it's almost like it's like a defense mechanism because I used to do the same thing when I was younger. I used to do the same shit where I'd try to make everybody like know how smart I was all the time. And then I started realizing, well, the guys that were the ones that got the girls weren't talking like me, weren't moving like me, speaking like me. So I said, okay, cool. Well, what if I just started moving and speaking like them? And my results got a lot better. Like girls will look at you like almost like an archetype. So they're not going to look at you as being like just some, I don't know. Like it's really hard to embrace all of what somebody is. So when you talk to a girl, the girl's going to be like, oh, this is that guy. Oh, this is that guy. This is that guy. And when you speak like this or you talk like that, you're not the guy that usually puts his hand under the table and starts finger banging the girl. That's just not that's not what's going on. Like you want to start maybe like if you wanted results like that. I don't know if you want to change your outcome. So let's say like 3x plus 1 equals y. Well, if you want to change y, you got to change x, which is your character. If you want to be the guy that finger bangs girls on the table, I mean you got to change x, which is your personality, who you are.
All right.
You know what I realized? You kind of remind me of like actually a very, very early version of myself. Well, I was born in Russia, right? And I went to like a private school because like, you know, the public schools there are like real grungy. And then we moved to America in second grade, and I went to second grade, right? And all these American kids were just misbehaving so much, like yelling and talking out, which like doesn't happen at all in Russia because your teacher whacks you with a big ass ruler, right? I remember first day of school, I came home and I was like crying on my mom's bed. I was like, Mom, these Americans are so disorganized. They're like animals. And I was like I was like such a sweet young boy. You kind of remind me of that version of myself, but that sweet young boy has been dead for decades. But yeah, I don't know. I would just
take him to the barn.
I would just go with what Denton says.
All right. Well, I'll definitely mull over this stuff. But thanks for your time, guys. On to the next person, I guess.
Cool. Thank you, Raza. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Raza.
He's like Alex circa 1998. Okay, let's add Dennis. Hello.
Yo, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well.
So my question is like, how do you have like the relationship talk and like set boundaries, you know? Like I've been using Alex's advice, got some dates, you know, like met some girls. I found one that I like. So you know the question I'm trying to ask?
Like the DTR? How do you negotiate the terms of your relationship?
Yeah. Like how do you
Do you guys want to go first? I can give my blue pill advice afterwards.
Well, I
How
know
long
your age.
have you been seeing this girl? Well, I think that's the first question. How long have you been together?
Like 2 weeks.
You want to start dating her for 2 weeks?
You think that's too soon?
2
I mean, we
weeks?
both like each other.
Take your time, man.
I
take
guess
your time.
could, but for me, typically, I wait at least a few months, if not like a year, but a few months. I don't know.
A month, a year before you DTR?
Down to what's DTR mean?
Like define the relationship to some extent. Like if you're going to be monogamous, going exclusive.
Oh yeah, maybe not a year for that, but like a few months, yeah, for sure. Before like anything, like the first few weeks, we're just like getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually a big thing where like it's called love bombing, where like somebody will try to rush a relationship. It's usually like a narcissist will try to rush a relationship before it's like they'll try to get intimate details out of you. They'll make it into this fairy tale relationship when it's, you know, obviously there's no such thing as that fairy tale relationship. Like a relationship is a lot more grounded, a lot more, you know, you guys are your own separate people. If you're jumping in this relationship so fucking fast, dude, I would be on your heels. Number two, when you're talking about like the boundaries should be something that you are unwilling to like, so you want something out of a relationship. Cool. Well, being very honest and being very strong about your boundaries and saying, this is what I want. And if somebody's unwilling to have those boundaries, I mean, then you're like, okay, cool. Then, you know, no relationship. That's fine by me. Like, I'm not what you want and you're not what I want. It's like having like enough of a backbone to be like, look, this is what I want. And if it's not what you want, like I want somebody that's like, that I want a relationship like this, then, you know, it's just not going to work out. We could, you know, do something else, but being together is probably not going to be it.
So holy shit, I just realized how many books Dennis has in the background. Oh my God, dude, you are a big reader.
Knowledge.
You got like a big library.
So what is this girl like? Because depending on the girl and what you're looking for in a relationship, you're going to want to have that DTR sooner or later, right? Like depends on what you want. Like, are you wanting to go exclusive soon? I would agree like 2 weeks, even in my like very conservative ass world, would be pretty fast. But I would say like within a month or two, it's reasonable enough to do if both of you are interested in that. Does she seem interested into getting into an exclusive relationship?
Yeah, but I think you guys are right. Like I probably should give it more time, you know? So just like still like go out in game and just talk to her, get to know her better, and then see how it goes.
Have you guys had sex?
Yeah, the first time we linked up.
Okay, just sure. Okay.
We went to get sushi. We sipped a bottle of wine, came back to my place. I showed her my YouTube videos, and then, you know.
Wait, are you serious? Or are you like trolling me right now?
No, like I'm dead serious.
She likes the YouTube, Alex. She likes the YouTube.
I thought that was like a meme of me.
So here's the
Exactly
thing,
what I
right?
did.
But depending on the type of girl, and it depends on how interested you are, you might shoot yourself in the foot if you wait too long. Because, for example, like I'm going to be much more of a traditional woman, but if I'm with a guy and like he's not slowly like if we're at date 6 and he's not even like somewhat leaning into some level of exclusivity, I'm out. Like I'm not interested because I'm not interested in like fucking around or being fucked around with. So it really depends on the girl you're dating, because that would be me, but that's very specific to like my niche of women. Other women are going to be a lot more chill and are going to actually, some women are actually going to be the opposite, and they're going to expect a high level of casualness for a lot longer and are going to be kind of weirded out if you try to DTR too quickly. So part of this is going to be teasing apart what type of woman you're dealing with here. And also, ideally, you're finding the type of woman that somewhat matches what you prefer. If you want a casual thing for a really long time, that should be the type of woman you're looking for and negotiating for. If you want something that's more serious more quickly, that's also something you want to negotiate for. As far as the DTR, I don't think there's any smooth way to do it. It's kind of an explicit conversation where you essentially go like, what's our goals? Like, what are we doing here? But I wouldn't do it super fast because that can ruin the relationship. But if you don't do it soon enough, that can also sometimes do damage to the relationship. So you really have to tease out what she's going to be wanting and what you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with the blue pill advice on this. Actually, I do think it really depends on the girl, because some girls would actually like run away if you bring up the relationship talk 2 weeks in. But some girls, if you don't bring it up in like the first few months, they might see that as a negative. So I do think it matters. But 2 weeks is really early. I would give it at least like another 3-4 weeks, like maybe like at least going on like a month and a half before even like bringing it up. But the way I would bring it up, like the way I always do it, is I'm super direct. I'm like, hey, we're hanging out, and this is kind of what I'm looking for. What are you looking for? And like, I just approach it from a very direct type of conversation type of way.
Yeah, boundaries are best when they're made like explicit, especially when you're negotiating the terms of a relationship. I think like a lot of relationship, because I view relationships as negotiations fundamentally, and a lot of it is done through implicitness, right? Like to some degree, as you're starting to date, within like 3 months from now, you're probably going to find if you actually want to be exclusive with her, you don't have a desire to be dating around that much anyways, because you're mostly, every date you go on, you're like, wow, she's less fun than this other girl that I want to date, right? And so you kind of will tend towards that exclusivity naturally. And so at some point when you're kind of following in that direction, you just need to make it explicit, because if she's really not falling in that direction, you need to know sooner than later, because if she's not interested in that, you need to get out and look into other options. So that would be kind of my advice, is you need to have that explicit conversation at some point, but yeah, probably not within the first 2 weeks.
Cool.
Yeah, I just like, I've been on dates, and I'm kind of getting like tired of just meeting up random girls, and it like not really going anywhere, or just like hooking up with them for one day and then it not going anywhere. It just feels like a waste of time, So that's why I guess I was trying to get into it so quickly. But now you guys like make sense. Just chill on it.
Yeah, you don't want to jump into a relationship when you have the worst thing you do is jump into a relationship because you have no other options. That's the worst. You want to jump into a relationship when you have options, and she's the best one.
I mean, I do have options, and like she's really nice. She's caring. She's takes care of like small children, teaches them how to swim and shit. Like really nice person.
Cool. So like I would say like just have fun, and even if you don't date around, like say you don't really date around and date a ton of options, you don't need to rush the defining the relationship in the first 2 weeks. You can also have fun by just like dating her, and you might not be interested in the other woman, and that's fine. Like you don't have to define the relationship the moment that you personally become exclusive.
Yeah, it makes sense. I appreciate you guys giving me advice. Definitely gonna help a lot. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill on it, get to know her better, and then see where it goes. So I appreciate the advice. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
for sure, dude. Have a good one.
Yeah, peace out.
What do you have in that big bottle, Kyla?
it's just water. It's just water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a huge jug. All right, let's do like maybe
Were you
2
hoping
more
it was like
people.
vodka or something? Just getting slizzard over here.
I would not be hoping for that, because then this stream would get like shit showed. Although that might actually help with views.
It might actually be good for the views.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You know what? Let's put some vodka in there. Okay, let's bring this guy on. Hello. Hey, where did Kevin go?
He's working on his YouTube. You heard the other guy talk about how his YouTube got him, helped him get girls, and he's like, "Oh shit."
Exactly. Just editing videos in the back. No, I'm getting food. I'm like
Hello?
low key eating. So
Again. Hello.
Hey, hello. Can you
I'm
hear me?
hungry.
Yep.
Hey, how's it going, Alex? Hey, guys. Great to
What's
be
up,
on
dude?
here. This is awesome. How's
Yeah,
it
man, for
going?
sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, no, this is great what you're doing. You actually reviewed my stuff about a year ago, and I had some changes. I sent you the link. I just want you to see if you got it. Just wanted to get some recommendations. You know, like hold on, like hairstyle, clothing, etc.
Alrighty.
I'm
Yeah, we
gonna
can do that.
I'm gonna resend
What
you the link. Just give me like a minute. How can I send it to you?
email, or you can just pull it up on the share screen.
I think I might have it here. Hold on. Check your email. Just type in who's Mark.
No, I don't see you. USMAR.
No. Let me see. All right, give me 1 minute. I'm gonna resend it to you.
Okay, we're just gonna bring on. While you figure that out, can we just bring on the next person real quick? Okay, let's just do. Is he using the toilet? Bro, are you taking a shit?
I'm like on call. I'm on call. I'm like, here. It's not someone else. I'm like running in and out the room here.
Okay.
Or someone else.
Okay.
I'm like, because the signal sucks. So I'm like running around.
Okay. Well, listen. While you send the link, we're just gonna bring on the next person. So we'll just have you on after. Okay. So just send the link, and we'll have you on after. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you guys?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good. So what's going on?
I would like to share, I guess, well, a little bit of a story, but also kind of I'm in like my gym arc after being like broken up with, so I'm kind of like looking for my tips on like how to like restart my journey / life going forward after ending like a 2-year relationship that was like an engagement basically. So basically, the story goes like, you know, I was in a long distance relationship, and you know, we were together for like 2 years, and about like a week ago, I found out that she was like, basically emotionally fell in love with someone else, and had like broken a bunch of boundaries that we had, and so we broke up. So now I'm like past that. Well, barely past that, but I'm looking for advice on like how to move forward from here in growth.
Do you still feel like you're thinking about her a lot, and like she's still on your mind, or not really?
I mean, yes, but I'm doing my best to ignore that.
I can
What
tell
is your
you.
dating experience like before her? Like, is she the only girl you've dated, or did you date
Yeah, I'd
a
say
decent
that
amount
was
of girls before?
no, I'd say that was like pretty much my one serious relationship that I've been in.
I can tell you with
That'll
me
definitely change things. Yeah.
what really helped me get over a breakup that was I had a hard time getting over. It's like super cliche, but this is just what worked. Like going out and hooking up with other girls. Like nothing else helped but that. And then when I started hooking up with a girl that I liked as well, then I completely got over the previous girl. So that was the only thing that helped me personally.
Well, that might be a bit tougher for him if this is the only girl he's dated, right? Like it's kind of in the sense that it's going to require him to go into an entirely novel thing that he hasn't experienced before, just from the sounds of it, of like going out and, you know, being a player, I guess. I guess that is one way to go about it. But, you know, people deal with heartbreak a little bit differently and getting over things a bit differently. Like, so for me personally, I'm sure the chat's going to make fun of me for this, but like when I have a serious relationship and and it ends, I'm not the type to just go out and try to fuck a bunch of girls. Like I usually just like shut myself off from the world a bit to like, that's like kind of my coping mechanism, but not necessarily in a bad way. I'll do sort of like what you did, right? With like going to the gym and stuff. I'll like really focus on my business or whatever. But it sounds like since you're on this call, you've already kind of gotten past that phase for the most part. At least you're in the part now where you're like, well, I've sort of gone through what I had to go through to deal with that heartbreak. Now I want to like go out there and date again, right?
Yeah, I mainly want to focus on like, I guess I realized a little while back that I've kind of like been sheltered my whole life and kind of lost a lot of like valuable experience in like just like investing in yourself, whether that's like, you know, fashion or like aesthetic or the gym. Like I barely like just started going to the gym like recently. I've always been a runner, so that's like probably one of my hobbies, but I've just started to get back into all this stuff, and it's kind of looking for some advice. That's all.
How long has it been since your breakup?
Oh, like about a week.
Okay. A week. A week.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I thought you made it sound like it was like a while ago.
Yeah.
No,
Holy shit.
yeah, that like just happened, and now I'm trauma dumping on people because it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at breakups, especially like really significant breakups, essentially what I typically see is basically people going through the process of grief. That's fundamentally what it is. You've lost a relationship that was meaningful to you, and grief is really messy. There isn't like a really perfect way to do it. The most important thing I can like basically prescribe is like make sure you do it. Don't just like shut off, but like process through it. I think what's really important when a relationship ends, in my view, almost always it takes two to tango, which means part of why your relationship failed was on your partner and part of it was on you. And whatever was your part, if you don't figure out what that is and how to correct it, you will carry that into your next relationship. And so like, say for example, like if you were, let's go do the cliche man thing where you're like, I'm bad at communicating my feelings and my emotions come out sideways, right? If that was a really big issue that you had in this relationship, you're going to carry that into your next relationship. And so as you're kind of in between and you're grieving, a really important thing is to figure out like, what did I do that made it go wrong? And how do I offset it? Sometimes what we do that makes it go wrong is I picked the wrong person. We really weren't that well matched, right? But you need to go through and figure out like, what was your contributing part and then correct those things. And also just like give yourself time to breathe. You're going to have to grieve it in whatever way. For Alex, it was like kind of like going out and having fun and like meeting other people. For Kevin, it might be like kind of internalizing and locking himself away and like journaling or whatever he's doing with his camera off. Eating, I think he's doing.
I'm eating food, sorry.
It's okay. It's just super important that you like feel it and you go through it.
Yeah, I like totally asked her like, "Hey, what went wrong?" And she's like totally denied like any responsibility on like either person's fault. And then she's just like, "Oh yeah, I just like get along with him so much better than I do you. Therefore, we're breaking up." That's basically.
So she met another guy?
Oh yeah, so basically, long distance relationship, and then like about like 3 weeks ago, she started hanging out with this guy a lot, you know, getting very emotionally invested in him, and then not stopping that, even though she realized like she was like. Essentially falling out of love with me.
Yeah. I mean, long distance is super rough, especially if you're young. That's just a recipe for a disaster.
I think impossible, honestly. I think long distance doesn't work.
Especially if you're young. Like long distance has to have an end date. If it's long distance, just like for whenever we figure it out, like those relationships. So like that's one thing you can look at and be like, I should probably look for an IRL relationship in the next one.
Yeah, I would completely avoid those forever. If it's like short for like 2 months, maybe, but yeah, long. That's the story every single time. Yep, someone meets someone else. But yeah, man, I don't know. I would just like it really hasn't been that long. He said it's like a week or 2 weeks. Like that's nothing. I would just I don't know. Like I would just focus on the shit that you want to do and kind of forget about her. Honestly, try not to think about her as much as possible. And focus on the shit. Just redirect your energy on the shit that you want to focus. As simple as that sounds.
It doesn't feel that simple, honestly. I'm literally at work, and that's like the only thing that's going through my brain. It's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie.
So,
well,
I'll give the blue pill take. Typically, when you're feeling, emotions are indicators. And sometimes if you're feeling some sort of way, you need to process through it. And so there's a million ways to do that. I'm not going to sit here and be like the cringe lord who tells you, like, you need to talk about your fifis. Because I actually think the way that we like experience and express emotion is much more diverse than just talking about your feelings. But you gotta figure it out, because your emotions are constantly signaling you that something's up, and that means that like they need to be attended to in some way. It might be sweating it out, it might be building a fucking shed, it might be buying a yacht, it might be doing whatever the fuck. Imagine buying a yacht. Whatever the fuck it's going to be, but you need to attend to it. You probably need to figure it out. And then there are really important times where we need to like intentionally tell yourself, I'm not going to think about this for a little bit, and like force your brain to shift away.
Yeah, so
I'm going to give you some. Go ahead, Karisma King. Sorry, I'll go after you. Go ahead.
All right, so here, I'll put it this way, dude. I've been through the fucking most heart-wrenching breakups you can imagine, and I know exactly how that shit is. So you feel a little bit heavy in the chest, right? Like your chest is really heavy?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the way that I found that really helps me out with this, so the worst thing you can do is like you can interpret this in a very negative way, where you're like, this is the worst thing ever. Well, what I found that helps me out is like, so you know when you work out and you get lactic acid in the muscles and you start feeling like the pain, I always tell myself that pain that I feel is actually going to help out my character, going to help out my strength of character, my ability to stand strong in the face of adversity. So spin it around your head first and become non-resistant to it, because that which you resist persists. So the more that you learn to love the emotion of feeling that pain, the better off you'll be. I do think that you do need to work through the emotions in some way, but it's also not healthy to do it consistently, because eventually you become obsessive and then it's going to fuck you up for like years. I've been in where I've been like, I just obsess about some stupid shit for like a year plus, when the girl had already moved on like fucking like over like 6 months ago. Like it was already done. So when one of my friends said is like, he gave himself a time period for him to feel the grief stage and for him to like just like work it out and cry into a pillow, talk to his friends. But then eventually what you need to do is you need to start like you need to have this feeling of moving and like growing and evolving, like hitting the gym, like Erudite was saying. Hit the gym, work out, start working on business, work on stuff that makes you feel like you're growing and evolving and expanding. That will help you out so much. Alex and me, like we both like sleeping around for us does help out, but also winning and like also, you know, building something underneath you, building a savings account, whatever you need to do, hitting the gym, seeing the six pack in the mirror, flexing and whatnot. Be like, man, I wish, you know, like that girl's never going to get a hold of this again. Like stuff
creating
like
a YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers, you know, shit like that.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Get a follow fan base like that. Definitely, it helps out a lot of other people. So yeah, but essentially
put on a banana outfit and dance around the streets. I don't know.
Yeah, but eventually definitely.
How many streams can we go? Is it possible for us to go one stream without mentioning the banana incident? I don't think so.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going, Denton. Sorry.
Oh, I'm pretty much almost done. Yeah, at some point you do need to let go of it and just like put it completely out of your brain. So there's this quote that I have on my phone. The secret of change is to focus all your energy on not on fighting the old, but on building the new. So whenever you start coming back onto it, where you start finding yourself again reciting it in your head and again, and you come back to it and it's already past the point of you grieving, you're like, no, I'm not letting my brain go here. I'm putting it somewhere new, somewhere where it's more got to be more valuable to me in my future. Meantime, though, you're allowed to grieve, man. Take your time. Like find a time in your day to grieve and cry into a pillow, talk to whoever you need to. It's going to make you feel good. Crying is very cathartic and very good for you. Just don't do it in front of a girl who's trying to date or something like that. do it around your boys. Do it around somebody that you really like. I know Erudite doesn't like that, but
I've been so I'll give you advice based on what I did, because I had 2 major heartbreaks in my 28 years on this earth, and both times the thing that I don't remember who told me this advice, but it helps so much. It's like when you go through heartbreak, you just want to again, everybody reacts to it differently, but in general, you kind of just want to shut yourself away. You kind of just want to like hide yourself in a corner or whatever. The best thing you can do is just to get up and start moving. You know, you don't necessarily have to like do anything super intense or whatever. I mean, that's one way to cope and deal with it. But you just have to like not let those thoughts just take over and make you go crazy. Because that's, if you're just sitting there, right, and not doing anything, all those negative thoughts are also constantly going to be going through your head. Some of them are necessary, like as some of the people here suggested a while ago. Like you don't want to ignore them by any means. But sometimes it can be overbearing. And I'll tell you what I did personally for myself. This is going to sound really intense, but it's very effective. I would just start running until I would like collapse. So I know that sounds super intense, but I'm telling you, it's like it helps to offer you a little bit of perspective when you feel like you're running so hard that you feel like you're going to die. And then you have that perspective and you're just like, well, at least that, as much as the heartbreak sucks, this sucks way harder, like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me being way too intense and try hard. But for me, that kind of helped one mentally, because, you get the endorphins and stuff running later. But I think it helps to offer you perspective a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's insane advice, but it worked for me.
No, I totally understand.
You can just take the Alex pill, which means bang chicks and watch Game of Thrones.
Oh, jeez. No. I'm not into that kind of hookup thing. That is not
House
my
of
thing.
Dragon episode 4 is dropping on Sunday. I mean, I don't think it gets better than that, but it's just me.
Well, I appreciate all the help, guys. All the
Thank
advice.
you. For sure, dude.
Have
Have
a nice day.
All right, take care.
I'm going, man.
We've got for like 2.5 hours. I don't know how many more I can do.
There's so many people backstage. How about we prioritize the people that have their cameras on? I think that's only fair.
That's still going to be 7 people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with their cameras on, but there's some that don't have their cameras on. So
Denton, do you like the Stoics a fair bit, like Amor Fati and stuff? I feel like some of the stuff you talk about echoes of like the true, not like the Victorian Stoics, like not the British Stoics, but the true, like Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, I love Marcus Aurelius. He's dope.
Okay.
Have you read his memoirs? Is that what you're talking about?
I haven't read his memoirs in full. I've read like bits and snippets of it, but I couldn't pretend to be like a super Marcus Aurelius reader.
Yeah, he was the last great emperor. They had 5 great emperors. The last one, he had a fucking shit ass son who ruined it all.
Yes,
Marcus Aurelius is insanely fucking smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I love philosophy. I love studying. I like reading. I had a lot of really good mentors too underneath me that helped out with that shit.
Okay. Yeah, just some of what you're saying reminds me of like Amor Fati, like I love this, which is like typically about like suffering. Like I love this suffering, because you can like render meaning from it.
yeah, Amor Fati is a very powerful concept. It's great. I like the Nietzschean standpoint a bit more. Not that it contradicts the Stoic thing, but yeah, just the idea of like, so let's let somebody on. I'm not going to go down a philosophy rabbit hole because the chat's going to get mad at me.
I feel like we're 2.5 hours in though. Like, I don't know. How much longer do you guys want to go for?
I'm good to go for like 1 or 2 more.
Let's do let's do.
Oh, I thought you meant 1 or 2 more hours. I was like, holy shit.
No.
Okay, 1 or 2 more people. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
I'm sick. I got to go to bed soon.
Yeah, my neck is killing me. Oh, I need to stretch out and shit. Okay, let's
I'm
do
not gonna
one.
make a joke.
Let's for sucking dick or something, or what? What's the joke?
No. I was gonna say that.
Should I do the
I
plug?
was gonna
Just
say
remember,
that.
if you guys are watching right now and you have, I just checked Alex's stream. There's like 163 of you watching, and there's like 13 likes. Like the damn stream. Boost them in the algorithm.
People hoard those likes like there's no tomorrow. Okay, let's just do one more person. Okay, this guy Kia Shell. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Keisha.
Hey.
Pretty good.
What's up, man?
Okay, so I've got 2 big questions here. Fuck off, that I think will apply to a good number of people.
Okay.
The first is I move a lot. I'm just a very mobile person. I've lived all over. Fuck you. Fuck off. I've lived all over the place, and as a result, I have a very undeveloped network at any given time where I'm living. So how do you build that? I've never really had experience building like a network of friends.
Sure. I'm just confused about one thing. Why did you say fuck off so many times in the beginning?
He has Tourette's. Do you have Tourette's?
Oh, okay. Shit, my bad.
No,
Oh,
it's fine.
sorry. That's what I figured, yeah.
He's really mad at
sorry.
you, Alex.
How dare you?
I was gonna say he seemed so like he was saying it so like nice, like a compliment.
Maybe he's
Yeah.
like a rapper.
Yeah. I'm glad we cleared that up. That shocked me a little bit first.
Oh, you didn't hear the bit. He said, I want to. And then he said, fuck you. So, yeah. Just kidding.
Okay,
Building connections. You're essentially asking about like building roots. Oof.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like that's probably fuck off. Fuck you. I feel like that's probably an important part of dating.
Mhm.
So how do you do that?
Social media, Instagram, stuff like that. You can use like I think social media is one of the best hacks for dating and building a social circle. Like you can add like a girl's phone number. Like I still communicate with girls from like 3, 4, 5 years ago. From like honestly, actually about 10 years ago now. I think about this because it's just social media. And like now they can keep seeing your face and they keep being reminded and you keep posting up stories, stuff like that. And through the stories, they can still communicate and still connect with you. I think it's really good to use social media and build up an Instagram, even though a lot of people, I know a lot of people have like very, how to put it, like resistance to it because they're afraid of doing it initially and building it up from zero, but it's really worth it once you get it there.
Okay, social media.
I know I woo about rock climbing all the time, but seriously, there's almost a gym everywhere. And now that I've been to multiple gyms in like multiple different areas in like of like Canada and America, the culture's really consistent across gyms, which is typically people who want to do active things, are pretty adventurous, and are really friendly and easy to talk to. And it's so easy to like every time I go to the climbing gym, I'll get like 4 to 5 numbers of different people who are like, hey, next time you're here, like make sure you text me and we'll see if we can like hook up and like hang out. So like unironically, I think like rock climbing is like it's like a pretty small sport. It's pretty niche, but it's really popular, especially with like young adults. It's like booming right now. It's a really fun sport, and it doesn't like select for body type. So like any body can kind of do rock climbing. You just have to like figure out your style.
I'd say use the pickup community. There's like a whole bunch of like people in the pickup community you can meet up with. Like 90% of my friends are people who like I met through the pickup community. Other dudes who want to like pick up chicks. So I don't know. You can utilize that. They have Facebook groups in like every city and forums and shit.
Okay. Kevin, you got anything?
I mean, I was gonna say what Karisma King was gonna say, honestly, with the Instagram and everything. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next fuck yeah. That was a weird one. So how do you find an environment where approaching feels appropriate when most of the things you see online is like women saying don't approach them, and you also have these sort of social guidelines. You have these social guidelines that you should try to follow, which is like don't approach people who are working because that puts them in a really awkward situation. And obviously don't approach when you're working. How do you find an appropriate environment to approach people?
I feel like I've got to be the first to say typically women's advice about like dating and stuff is not very good or true. Obviously that seems ironic since I'm making that, and I was like, but you're a woman, and it's like, yeah, but I've like studied fishermen. Like I'm kind of like a fisherman's coach. Like I've watched
divided by
fishermen.
0.
Yeah, exactly. But like in general, like women are like, don't approach me here. It's like if you're hot enough, they'd be fine with it. If you're charismatic enough, they'll actually be fine with it. So like the main things I prioritize is like don't approach in spaces that make it unsafe or uncomfortable. So like if it's an awkward encounter and then you're stuck at a bus stop with her for 10 minutes, that's a little rough. And also make it really easy for her to say no. So if she's in like a grocery store and she's not interested, she can easily just like move along and like go to a different part of the store. Again, if you're stuck at like a bus stop or like alone in like a line or something like that, she doesn't have anywhere to go when it's over.
Yeah, you always want to make a girl
So it's a little late at night and you're trying to get home, huh?
Yeah. There's actually this dumb thing that I'll do with clients sometimes where I'll see like a client who hasn't been doing a lot of approaching, where it'll like be a big wall. The client will come like this and like get the girl up against the wall while they're walking together. And the girl will immediately become very like tense and very scared, not noticing that he needs to give her a lot more fucking space. Because like girls, like, so in a situation like where you're starting, I would actually, especially with just beginning and just starting it off, you need to kind of go through that initial period where it's going to be awkward or weird. Just know when you got to leave. Like if you want to, man, initially, just start with just saying hi, just giving a compliment, work your way up. As you get more confident, what happens is people will actually, so there's this cool thing. It's like, there's emotional and logical frames. If you're emotionally in a really good headspace and you have the framework that this is okay for me to do, it's okay for me to say hi to you. What will happen is the subconscious, even if the girl initially resists you, like oftentimes what happens is the girl will actually be like, oh, maybe it is okay for him to say this. Maybe it is okay for him to say hi, because your belief that it's okay overpowers her belief that's not okay. And then she'll actually fall into the frame that's okay to say hi to her. It's like, it's this dumb thing that people do. It's like if I always use this one where like if I was on an island with you and I saw the sky was red and I said the sky was red like a blabbering idiot every fucking day for like a year, you go back to the homeland being like, yeah, the sky's fucking red. And every time somebody tell you the sky was blue, you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? The sky's red. It's definitely fucking red. We had it wrong over here. The sky's red. It's like how people build cults. What you want to do is you want to believe that it's so okay for your approach that she falls in the same fucking frame. That just takes time, dude. I would initially just start off with just giving people compliments. Give people like walk up to a girl and be like, hey, I love your outfit. It looks amazing. Have a good day. Or even just asking people for directions. This isn't something that's easy to build at first. It's going to take the course of like a year or two. But like over the course of you doing that, you're going to build up self-confidence. The person you'll become through the act of being able to do this will become so fucking powerful. You'll be a lot more at ease in your body, honestly, just by learning how to do this. Like you should do it for yourself.
I just personally don't give a shit about like social conventions. So
yeah, no, he doesn't.
I just kind of do what I want as long as I don't think it's like, as long as it doesn't cause any damage to other people, I think it's fine. So like, I don't know. I think if you think there's nothing wrong with what you're doing, then most people will kind of go along with your frame. So I wouldn't worry about like shit you see on the TV or shit you see on like female dating YouTube channels that say it's creepy when he approaches me. I just ignore all that shit and kind of just like do what I want.
Well, there's an equal amount of girls that also say the opposite too. Like it's just like, you know, it's just like so a lot of girls say it's cool to approach them. Other girls say it's not. Just ignore the girls that say it's not. Those aren't your girls.
And to be honest,
to
they'd probably be fine with
it. To piggyback off of what Den just said, or he was saying earlier, it just sort of depends. So if you find yourself getting a bit anxious to just meet strangers in general, then yeah, you should definitely go the route of what Den was saying, just learning to say hi to people. And then the next step is to like say hi to girls specifically. Then the next step is complimenting them. Then the next step is that, you know, but if you already have that part figured out and it's just like girls specifically, like asking out or approaching girls you find attractive, then yeah, you kind of just have to jump in the water, man. You just kind of have to go. But, you know, the pickup guys talk about it all the time. Maybe Denton can elaborate on this, but you know, the whole idea of like getting in flow, right? Sometimes you can build that up by just having regular social interactions, and then eventually you talking to pretty girls, like it's just like nothing. Like you can get to the point where somebody will just, you know, Denton's friend and my friend Avery, you know, sometimes we would go out, it would just get to the point where Avery's like, that one, go approach them, be like, all right, you know. So it's something you can build up to, but sometimes you can just sort of get in that state. So yeah,
a super simple like cold approach that I often recommend is going in with like the apologetic compliment, because it makes you seem like very like safe. You're being aware that you're intruding into their space, which is a bit of a social no-no. And then you apologize. So you like can approach somebody and be like, hey, I am so sorry to bother you. And then you give an intentional compliment. Like say she's wearing like a cute backpack and like matching shoes. Be like, your backpack and shoe, like they match super well and it looks super, super cute on you. I like really like it. Every fucking girl is going to turn to you and be like, oh my gosh, thanks. Because she did do it on purpose. Because that's what girls do. They're intentional with their aesthetic, right? So you've apologized by disarming and being like, hey, I'm really sorry to break the social rule of not approaching, but I had to because you just look so cute. It's a really good cold approach. Practice that a bunch. Even better, then just like leave. And then all of she's going to be left just feeling nice because you got a compliment. And you get kind of those reps in, and it's a very, very easy way to approach because you are apologizing already for breaking that social convention.
I personally wouldn't apologize, but I would acknowledge. So I would just say, hey, I know this is really random, or hey, I know this is really whatever, spontaneous or whatever. I like a random. I'm like, hey, I know this is really random, but blah, 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 blah. I don't really like the idea of apologizing, though, because like you're not doing anything wrong by talking to a stranger.
It's a Canadian thing, probably. Yeah.
I see what Kyla's getting at, but I would just address it differently. Like, hey, this is really random, or hey, I know this is kind of out of the blue, blah 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 blah. But yeah.
Well, I feel like it's a difference of like different levels. Like, so at a certain level, like it's good to say sorry, but the next level, when you get more confident, it's not so good. Like, so when you're just starting off, saying sorry, it's a good spot because it's going to get you good initial reactions. But then you got to get the masculine vibe in too. Like you got to get that Ryan Gosling vibe in. Like the Ryan Gosling's not going to approach, you know, apologizing when he says hi to a beautiful girl.
The way I handle it is relative. So if they seem busy, like they're, you know, picking something out in the grocery market or something, or they have music in, especially, then I'll say, hey, sorry, but blah, blah, blah. But if they kind of seem idle or like they're just going through routine or something, then I'll just say it. All that advice is really good.
Well, maybe an alternative, you could say like, excuse me or something, you know, because it's like,
In
excuse
Canada,
me,
sorry
it's
means excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's something about saying sorry.
I think that's a
I know
Canadian
sorry and
American
excuse
thing.
me are technically, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. If
sorry
you just
is
say
so
sorry, it
standard
just
in
kind of
Canada.
feels like, yeah. Oh, sorry, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry in Canada, saying like, "Hey, sorry" is "Hey, excuse me." They're
Okay,
interchangeable. Sorry in Canada does not mean I admitting that I'm doing something wrong. Like
Oh,
ever.
you guys are polite bunch. In America, we never apologize, even when we're blatantly wrong. Even if I like fucking
passive aggressive.
even when I hit your dog, run over your grandma, I'm still gonna be like, well, your grandma shouldn't have been walking on the sidewalk, and then we drive away. That's kind of the American way. But
They
yeah,
might have
You know,
actually a
that
point.
is
to be
true.
fair.
I think you're touching on what it is. I think it's more like in America, the more wrong you are, the less likely you are to say sorry. But if it's like a tiny little thing, you'll probably say sorry. That's just American culture.
Yeah, I know in Miami and Vegas, which is where me and Alex are from, like you cannot nearly you can't apologize to a girl when you approach them usually. I know in other places like nice areas like the countryside and whatnot, it's probably a little bit more likely where it's like less likely to be approached so much. In Vegas, in LA, in Miami, girls are getting approached all the time. So if you're not like, you know, you're walking up apologizing, like they're getting the weirdest guys always do that stuff. So then it's like then you have to like figure out like, you know, it just depends on the girl. It lowers
Place
the
like
percentage of opening up.
Yeah, a place like Vegas too. They might think that you're like trying to sell them something.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, sorry. Like that sounds like something like a salesperson would do. It'd be like, oh, sorry to interrupt, but you know. So I think especially in the U.S., especially a place like Vegas, where like you said, people are getting approached all the time, especially girls. They might already have this defense shield up, where as soon as they hear the word sorry, they're just like, well, I've ran away every single time somebody said that. So
I do find Canadian women like they could be gorgeous and they're the most open to getting approached. Like I've noticed, like they don't give you initial negative energy. They're always just positive to be talking to you. Not obviously not
fake.
Quebec.
It's fake. Don't worry.
Not especially not from Quebec. If you're talking about girls from
That's
Quebec,
true.
fuck the girls from Quebec. Fuck everybody from Quebec. No offense. If everybody's watches from Quebec, those guys are man.
I don't
I
know.
did have a good intern from there, but most people I talk to from over there are very they're very much they take off after their French counterparts pretty hard. You guys need to kick them off.
I do think Canadians are nicer than Americans. This is my favorite. One of my favorite YouTubers is Ownage Pranks. He does these prank calls, and whenever he prank calls Canadian people, they're so much nicer than like Americans. Like they'll go along with this shit for like 20 minutes and be like, "Sorry, sir, I cannot help you with this." Blah blah blah. Whereas Americans are like, "Fuck off, you bitch," and hang up. So there's definitely a big difference there if you're like.
Well, Americans have to live in America, so they have a lot to be angry
Americans will knife you. Canadians are going to poison your meal and kill you. That's kind of the difference.
No, in America, we don't knife you. We shoot you.
That's true. You guys will shoot us. We're going to poison your meal.
Especially in Texas. I will say, I'm biased, but if you want like real nice people that aren't fake, come to Texas.
Yeah.
Or the Midwest.
Not in the cities though. Like outside of the cities. There's some good people in the cities too, but outside of the cities, yeah. Just saying. I just had to put my Texas plug in.
Well, we have such a big culture too. We're fucking all over the place. Not to go all tangent king on everybody. So let's go back to the topic.
Tangents are great.
Well, I think we pretty much covered everything, right, Keisha?
Yeah, I think so. Mostly the advice that I needed was how I am used to approach people. I approach people all the time. I compliment people relentlessly when I'm ootin' a boot. But transitioning that into, hey, I think you're really cute and I want to take you for ice cream or something, you know, that's a little more difficult because it's hard to find, for me, it's hard to find a moment where I feel like they are available to be approached.
When I first go out and I take time off because I work a lot of hours. Like I've been working since I woke up today, so I'm exhausted on a stupid thing. But I'll put it like this: sometimes I'll take like months off, sometimes I'll take a full year plus off. And whenever I take that time off, I will find that girls will receive me a lot more piss poorly because I'm a lot more nervous, I'm less self-assured. But as I keep going out and keep pushing myself to keep going out, what happens is you start building momentum. You start taking the actions that lead the ego and start developing like a certain type of character. So you stop caring so much about what the girls think. You start believing in your own value system. When you say hi to a girl, when she gives you a look, you don't flinch so much, and the girl's like, oh, maybe it actually is kind of cool. Maybe this guy's kind of a dope ass guy. So the very first month I go out sucks. The second month also sucks a little less though. Third month starts getting a little bit better. I'm getting better reactions. The girls don't usually give me flaky phone numbers. 4 months in, a lot better. 5, 6 until I hit the 6th month. Then I start taking girls home where girls want to hang out with me. By the first year of me going out, usually, I'm pretty much fucking wrecking it. But it takes a lot of time, man. It's not like it's about the consistency of action. Same thing with hitting the gym. When you work out, you want to get a nice body and a nice physique. Like initially, it's gonna fucking suck putting yourself in the gym, but then eventually start loving hitting the gym. You get drawn to the action of going and hitting the gym. Eventually, just love being social. I don't even go out to go talk to girls. I go out to hang out with my boys, have some fun. And then girls are just kind of like a side afterthought. I just go and approach girls, just not even thinking about it. I think it's like be really nice to yourself in the meantime, man. Give yourself like good 3-6 months to a year. Just enjoy the process in the meantime. Like focus not on getting the girls, but 1, trying to make friends, and 2, building charisma. If you work on those 2 things, eventually the girls will come.
Actually, that brings me to another like really quick question. I have been going to the gym for over 8 years straight, and I still don't like it. How do you like it? How do you like the gym? I don't understand.
What aspect do you not like about it? Is there there's a difference between liking something and hating something, or not liking something and hating it. So would you say that you hate it, or you just don't?
I don't know if
enjoy
I hate it. It just it's like I gotta go to the gym again.
Do you feel out of place?
No, not really. I don't feel out of place. I just feel like it's a chore.
What are you doing there? Are you doing cardio or are you doing weights?
I alternate. So Monday, Thursday, arms, torso.
What's your progression been like? Your
What do you
progress
mean
in the gym?
I mean, it's been pretty steady.
Like in what way? Like how do you track your progress? Like what have you gotten better?
I don't really. I don't.
I think I
kind of just
there's your issue right there, bro.
Like I feel like I'm fairly fit. I feel like I'm healthy.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that. But
what's one of those things is like it's like if you're not progressing in some way, it's hard to get excited about it, right? Like all of us and anything we do in our lives, we want to see some sort of improvement or else it becomes boring, right? Even if it's like your job, for example, we want to see your income rise over time. Even if you're already doing pretty well for yourself, you still want to keep progressing. So a lot of times the gym, because I've been doing this like full time for like 10 years, right? I used to work 80 hours a week in a gym. And usually the people that drop off is because they don't have something in place to track progression. And more specifically, they don't see progression, so they can't get excited about it. So even if it's just little things like, increasing, a certain lift or being able to decrease your time in when it comes to the treadmill or something like that. At the very least, if you do that, then you have a goal set in place, right? Human beings, we're goal striving creatures. So I think a good goal to have that I've discovered is to do things in like monthly increments. So you say, okay, well, in the month of September, by the end, I want to accomplish this. And then you work backwards from there. And then that'll kind of trigger that part of your brain to make you more sort of progress focused, and it makes it more exciting.
Okay. So the fact that my goals are just sort of routine, just go to the gym and do your workouts rather than this is like a goal you want to meet, like a numerical. Yeah. Okay.
And people doing routines can sometimes work because some people, they just need that de-stressor and that's it. And that's fine. But for a lot of people, they need some sort of goal in order to keep them pumped and excited.
Yeah, I also don't do cardio because I find cardio miserable, so I just don't do the shit that
It is. I used to like cardio when I was younger.
My husband's a personal trainer. I go to the gym basically every single day. I have friends there almost every single day, and my husband, and it's still a chore. I don't love brushing my teeth either, but I do like having a big booty, and so I'm kind of like it's a worthwhile trade-off, and I get a lot of work done, so that's kind of the trade-off. I do 3-minute rests, and so I get like a fair bit of my emailing and like messaging done during that time. So like that's kind of the trade-off I make, but it's always been a chore, and I track my progression and all these things, and I still just find it a chore. I don't super enjoy it, but I also know that I'm a miserable cow when I don't do it, and I like the booty gain, so
well, so there's I think you hit on something really important there. The fact that you said all your friends go, your husband goes, that's a big motivator for people to go do something that they don't enjoy, is they have a team around them, right? So if you have somebody that you regularly meet at the gym, and it's like, oh, it's easy for a lot of people. It's easy to let yourself down, and it's a lot tougher to let other people down, right? So that's why it's good to have like a workout partner. This is why when it comes to any sort of, I can say this from my experience with personal training, surprisingly, you would expect the one-on-one training clients to do the best. A lot of times the group setting, they do the best because they don't feel like they're just letting themselves down. They feel like they're letting everybody else in the group down if they don't show up, for example. So that might be something to consider is, maybe join one of those gyms where it's like more of a group setting, right? Like Orange Theory or F45, where they have a little bit more of that community aspect. That might help. Oh, by the way, F45 is a great place to meet girls.
F45?
Yes.
So
if you go to F45, you will be fucking a lot if that's your goal.
So I'm pretty sure Kevin, you're a personal trainer too, right? Like along with like Erudite and her husband. I do have, so both my mom, my stepdad, and they both have NASMs. They do it full time. I got my own alpha. I don't got the NASM though. The NASM is a fucking beast of a fucking test. I'll say this, dude. Like, why don't you try like a different like workout method? Why don't you try like different workouts? See which one you really like. Maybe one's gonna click for you. Try something different.
The thing that concerns me with that is, while I do see going to the gym as a chore, I have managed to keep it up for a really long time. So if I change it up, am I gonna start like disliking it more and end up not going? It's a worry.
What if you like it more and then your workouts are better?
Yeah.
And
rolling
it's
the dice.
not an unbearable hour of your life every single day or however often you go.
5 days a week. But yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Because we're playing around, figure out what lifts you like. Like, I'm always like, I just want to get like multiple pull-ups because it's cool when girls can do like dead hang pull-ups, right? So like that's one of my goals is just like working on my pull-ups because I'm like, it would be cool if I could do a pull-up. It's a pretty stupid reason, but it's still a goal. And it still like somewhat motivates me, especially to do upper body, which I hate doing because it sucks. So
I found personally that I used to go out and I used to work out the same amount of days as you, sometimes even 6 days a week. I found that when I dropped down to even 3 or 4, I found that my muscles specifically need a lot more rest days. Maybe like you're going out, maybe you're hitting it too much. Maybe you need more rest. Maybe that'll make you enjoy it more. Maybe you need more sleep. Sometimes sleep's really good for working out, having a consistent sleep schedule. Then again, I have a feeling that the other two people, they know a lot more about working out than I do. I feel like I'm kind of like out of my depth.
So
yeah, okay. I feel like they know a little bit more, so they can probably correct me on this shit. And
I think we covered it like pretty adequately. But yeah, cool. All right, cool. Awesome.
You can pretty much just if you're afraid of like I don't know, maybe if you have a certain routine you like to do, just keep doing the exercises you're doing, but just try to make goals of progression there, right? So if you're doing 60 pounds for something, you're doing it for 3 sets of 10. You could increase the volume by doing more sets or even more reps, and then increasing the weight. You know what I mean? So it's like that way there's something exciting behind it.
Right. I'm sorry. I just read something in chat that was really funny. But yes, that is good advice. Okay.
Don't look at the chat, bro. You'll get distracted.
It's so funny. I love it. Okay. I'm sorry. I've taken up a bunch of time. I'll let you guys go. Kyla, tell Nick I said hi.
I got you.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, dude.
Bye, bro.
Alrighty.
I'm guessing Nick is your husband.
Yeah, there's more simps in the chat for my husband than there is for me at any given time.
Nice.
It's just a cutie patootie.
Alex texting Natty to call and tell him to pick her up. Dead.
That's a bit of an inside joke. Wait, when did that happen? That was during the dating stream, right?
Yeah, that was during the dating stream.
that was when Ashley was telling me. Oh, is that debate happening? By the way, I heard it's happening on Sunday. Is that true?
Sunday, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that should be
who are you
fun.
debating?
That's going to be my last like goofy debate in a while.
He's debating,
or for a while, I should say.
hater.
Your number one hater.
Oh,
I have lots of
Tyler,
haters, so her being number one is saying a lot.
You got to watch the stream. Yeah, it was hilarious. I think Kevin put like a quick version of it on his channel.
I did. We were doing speed dating, and so I went out with I speed dated, all three girls at once, and then one of them she's one of them. She was nice though, but one of them just fucking hated me, and then I find out that she just didn't like me before even. So yeah,
I feel like you have a weirdly large amount of haters when you don't really say any radical things.
Well, I'm very opinionated, and a lot of people don't really like it when somebody calls them out for being a bitch, and I do it all the time. so basically,
I do that just as much as you.
I was gonna say Alex is also pretty disagreeable.
I'm constantly calling people bitches.
A lot of your chat doesn't like you either, bro. I don't know if you noticed. Because look, our chat's interesting because there's a lot of the true fans of PWF of me. We share a lot of the same audience, but we have some differing audiences too. Most of them don't really comment that much. So, for example, all of my clients, the people in my mastermind, I almost never see them chatting ever. And so the people that I see in chat are typically people who we've just kind of collected them through debating incel guys, and they just kind of followed us, especially Alex. I think a lot of the incel community has commandeered PWF's chat for better or for worse. Sometimes for better, because sometimes they're hilarious. Like incel humor is some of the funniest stuff you'll ever hear. So, but yes, that's why I have a lot of haters. One of the reasons.
I think it's just because you look too much like Emil Hirsch. So, that's the real reason.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah,
it's the shirts.
Right.
It's the floral shirts.
All right, cool.
I love it though. It's all good.
We're almost on the 3-hour mark. Any closing thoughts, anyone?
Nope. It's September on Twitch, which means you get 20% off your subs, and I still get the full amount. So give your subs, bitches. And if you're on Amazon Prime, that means you can give me a free one every month. And make sure
I don't think we're allowed on Twitch. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are you guys banned on Twitch?
No,
I don't know. I just think the topics we cover will definitely get banned at some point.
No, everything that's streamed. This is being streamed to Twitch.
It is being streamed to Twitch.
Yeah, everything I stream to Twitch by default.
I just assumed because Destiny got banned, and you
got banned for kicking a hornet's nest. It was wrong. You shouldn't have gotten banned, just to be clear. But it wasn't because he just talked about dating and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just thought if you just talk about anything controversial, you just get banned on there. That's my perception of it.
Yeah, they're a little feisty with their banning hammer. That's for sure.
Why don't you just grow here and fix your nose? FFS. The typical chat comment. It has to do with my hair and my nose. I know, guys, my nose. I know it really detracts from the quality of the content. If only I had a better nose, you guys could get the really good content. But unfortunately, with my fucking broken nose, it's you guys are being deprived of the really good content. So yeah, I totally got you on that. I think the takeaway is we saw a lot of shitty profiles. No offense to anybody, which doesn't surprise me because every time I do one of these, there's a lot of bad profiles. But that's good news because that means most of your competition sucks. So that means if you put together a good profile, you will actually stand out. So again, goes back to what I was always saying, which is your competition is pretty tough, but your competition also largely sucks. So that's kind of.
Should we do my profile sometime? Since I'm doing. I'll sometimes date with women and stuff. So.
Tyler, what
do you mean you date with women?
Well, I mostly me and my husband go on dates every now and then. So I have it set to everyone, but typically I usually prefer. I've been more interested in going on dates with women. It's very interesting going on dates.
Do you guys have are you guys not? I don't know how to.
They have threesomes.
You have a destiny situation? Is that?
We're not an open relationship precisely. We're just kind of exploring things. We don't. Our rules are you can go on dates. Most of us were both too busy for the most part, but no kissing or sleeping with anyone at all at this point. It's just like, if you want to experience going on dates with people, that's okay, but probably nothing
And so
else.
you specifically go on dates with girls?
Mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
funner. It's very fun.
Tyler, I want to see you on the speed dating. I want to see you seduce one of these chicks.
Yeah.
Well, flirting with women as a woman is a totally different, like it's totally different. It's very strange.
It seems like it's very
basically
easy.
like going on a date with your friend, and then like there's just like a slight sexual tension. That's about it.
I want to see some blue pill game.
Blue pill game.
Yeah, let's see it.
I want to see this. Well,
I have a feeling Kyla will do very well in the
Mhm.
speed dating show.
Yeah.
Can't be much worse than a lot of the guys. So yep.
Fair play.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm a one-trick pony. I'm a total one-trick pony. So
you got your first potential date.
nice.
Yeah.
I'd let
There
her
you
speed
go.
date me. I mean, I can speed date with men too. It's just like that's easy mode for me. Like it's just like smile a lot and then nag them, and that's about it.
Neg them, eh?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Uno
All right,
reverse card.
We're gonna explore Kyla's sexuality in the next stream. I'm gonna
Okay,
bring
great.
some intriguing questions.
Do you want me to bring my husband too? You can check with him.
I'm very good at making.
Maybe we could
everyone
do like a
extremely-
double date, speed date or something.
Yeah.
Just bring two couples on and just see what happens.
Swinger speed date, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, appreciate y'all. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm gonna take tomorrow night off, and then the next one is gonna be, I think on Saturday we're gonna do speed dating, or Sunday. I don't know. Oh, Sunday's gonna be the debate, so probably Saturday. Anything you guys want to shout out before we close it out?
I'm just gonna say the debate on Sunday with Ashley is probably gonna be like my last like goofy debate for a while. You know, I've been watching. I honestly kind of was inspired by how you debated Fresh and Fit, Kyla. And you know, for me, I tend to debate much more fiery. Like, you know, I'm gonna punch you in the face with my brain and embarrass you. And I don't know. I'm starting to think I've been thinking about this for a while. It's good for entertainment. I don't know, it's fun, but it just gets to the point. It's like, is it even productive? You know what I mean? So I just want to put that out there because I know a lot of the audience likes to see me, you know, debate like that because it's more fun and drama filled, but I'm probably going to stop debating like that. I talked to my mastermind earlier today and I had a deep discussion about that. So I'm sorry for those of you who are disappointed by that, but I'm going to try to be a lot more sort of, I don't know, a bit more empathetic and a less of a dick. I'll just put it that way from now on.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyla, you helped to inspire me to
What I want to see is I want to see Kyla kick Myron out of his own house. I would love to see that. all right, dude, you got to go, man. You got to get the fuck out of here, dude. You're done. All right,
we need to see Kyla, Frank Castle, Myron. Yeah.
Man, Myron's a very respectful guy behind the scenes. Like we went out for dinner afterwards as well, and like I disagree with all of his life ethics and philosophy, but he's not a bad dude. Like he's a very respectful guy. He treated me, I would say, exceedingly well. So yeah, kind of a weird relationship with that one.
I still think you should Frank Castle him from his own podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay,
all right, Chris, cut his mic. He's done. Don't even shout out your Instagram. Just get the fuck out. Just go. We don't want to hear it. That'll be too much walls. All right, cool. Appreciate y'all. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Until next time.